What's up, everybody? Welcome back to SciFi and Friends podcast, episode number 54. I need to write these down. I think it's 54. Ryan Mossberg was 53, believe. Well, whatever episode this is, it's going to be 54. But a very special episode today because I do not have just one guest. I have two. I have with me Dave Lopez already. He missed me so much. He's like, I want to come back next week.
You know it.
All right. And then we also have Eric Onyango, who many of you know, many of you have rolled with, many of you have tapped out or been tapped by. Probably more of the latter than the first.
Right.
But welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Everybody's coffee is warm and delicious.
Yeah.
Good.
And rendezvous. I'm
Great.
about that rendezvous life, I'll tell you that much.
Good coffee.
Right now.
Dave bought 2 more pounds.
That's how I roll. I appreciate quality.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I appreciate quality.
That's good. Yeah, it's good coffee. Yeah.
Good deal. It
Good
will
stuff, man.
stimulate good conversation.
Yeah. I'm glad.
So how are you guys doing with the whole pandemic thing right now?
Man.
You said you went to work. Eric said he went to work this morning.
Yeah. Went to work this morning. Got some work done. And then had to meet you guys.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah.
Is it pretty much business as usual for you? Or?
No, not really. Not business as usual. We're having to do a lot of social distancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have to keep working.
Right.
You got to keep working, and it's a serious thing, and a lot of people look at it in different ways.
Right.
Right. Some people take it seriously. Some people not.
Yeah.
But whether you take it seriously or not, like it's shutting down businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to keep running. Right, so we got to change the way we work.
Yeah.
If you want to keep, it's like everybody else, right? Like you right now, if you want to do your podcast, if you want to keep doing what you're doing,
Right.
you got to change what you're doing a little bit.
That's right.
Everything you're doing, you got to change a little bit. So.
Yep.
Same for us.
Yep. I disinfected this whole room, the whole studio.
Yeah.
I ran the ozone for a long time.
Yeah.
Nothing lives in the ozone.
Yeah.
That ozone destroys all, bro.
Smells like that
Like
Colorado air.
Whoa.
Right.
Like Mile High air or like Denver
crisp.
air? Ah, I gotcha.
Crisp mountain air.
Yeah, crisp.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah.
Did-
I know.
Yeah. And then, you, Dave, you started something pretty interesting with inviting people to the gym to have one-on-one conversations.
Yes.
So I thought you were doing private lessons,
Right.
but
Right.
you're devoting wisdom to folks.
Well, I am. I'm trying to reconnect. I want to keep our connection strong. I've spent time building relationships and with people, and this is taking that away a little bit. And I like to keep those things strong. And so, we're trying to just keep on the path, right, together. And we have to change it up a little bit sometimes, but just keeping a positive outlook. And so I decided to dedicate my time to people, right? I want to give to them, and basically what we're doing is I just opened up a block of time. You go on this app that I'm putting out there and schedule a time. You come in, we chat.
What's that app called?
So it's Square Up, Square app, and I got an option there to it's called the Hangout option, whatever, and then you just go in there and you plug it in, you just reserve that block of time for yourself, and and then you come in to the gym, right? Come into the gym and we talk and we chat and we stay safe, at a safe distance or whatever, because we got to adapt, right? And I just, like I told you before we started, like I started doing that for others. I wanted to do that for others, to just, make sure we're all keeping a positive mindset and just kind of trying to stay on our track, right? We all have a track in life, and if you can help somebody else stay on their track and stay positive in what they're doing, then I want to help in that way. And so basically it's just a block of time, come in, chat, we'll hang out, have a good time, go over whatever, and then you leave at your leisure, right? It's just like, one of those things, just a little exchange, and you just keep going with your life, and hopefully that helps somebody, because I wanted to stay away from training, right? Because
that's hard to do.
It is, and so like taking the time to analyze everything, Jiu-Jitsu is the 100% enemy of the COVID-19, right? And so like I have to address it as such. And so some of my friends came over and they brought their gis, and I'm like, they weren't sure what I was doing, but it's like, let's just talk, right? Something a lot more people should do with others, right? Like
especially
today,
this time.
like today, I'm enjoying it. Like this is going to be a great time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope that that'll help somebody and take something from it, right?
Like, what are some of the subjects that people have brought to you? Like, does anyone ask you like the meaning of life?
Oh man, no. So it's
it's
just like this conversation, right? I could go anywhere, and so, one of the guys that came over, we talked about him going to Mexico and how like this plan kind of like got in his way, and they were supposed to have this pilgrimage, right? He's a Hispanic guy, and he's gonna go to this pilgrimage in
That'd be
Mexico.
cool.
Yeah, and so he was looking forward to it, and so, but he ended up doing it. That was cool. So we kind of started connecting on that, and he's a newer student, so it was good to just kind of chat that up with him, and then it brought up my past a little bit. So like I went to Mexico as well, and so that's where he's got family and connections too, and so it was cool. We talked about cycling. Jeff Day came in, and we talked about going on a bike ride. So we're gonna, and I'm gonna need your guys' help in this too, right? Be thinking about this. We're gonna do a team mountain bike trip to Northwest Arkansas. They got some awesome trails out there, and we can keep our distance, right? We're just hanging out with people, but let's go outside, go stay positive, go live your life, right? Because we're still alive, and we need to do that. We need to do that. And so this is just a method. I feel it's another way we can help stay connected. And those are the things that I'm focused on, like helping people build strong bonds with each other and stay connected to help each other, build each other up, and lift each other up, right? And there can't be enough of that.
And it's a very unique time. It's like perfect timing for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like before all this happened, who could come to the gym and just sit and talk for an hour?
Right.
Probably nobody.
Yeah.
They'd want to train, or they got a job or whatever. But now it's an opportunity where a man of much wisdom and experience says, come talk to me, or let's just chat it up.
Sure.
Like because like you said before, we were having coffee. It was as much a benefit to them as it was to you. Like you didn't even realize that it was going to affect you that way.
It did. It helped me. It was something that I needed, in my life as well. But it just goes to show you how something as a little bit of a positive exchange with another person can really help lift you, lift your spirits, lift your attitude, your overall outlook on anything. And so it really did. Like I told you, I did it for others to try to help others, but then man, it just helped me as well. So
funny how that works
out. I know, right?
Funny. I got a good friend, Nick Bonner, and I was going to tell you about this on the last podcast, but it makes me think of it now. He lived in Orange County, California, so a very highly populated place. And one time he went down to what's called the Orange Circle, and it's basically like the North Park Mall, very large place where a lot of people gather before the pandemic, so it was legal.
Right.
And he taped his mouth, put a piece of tape over his mouth, and put a sign on the front of his chest that said, "Tell me your story for $1." And so these people would come up, and he'd give them $1, and then they would just tell him his story. And he said how powerful that was to not be. The tape was there to not interrupt, so he couldn't ask questions or anything. It just allowed the person to tell the story,
right?
And how powerful that was.
Man,
Sometimes people need to do that. Like that's a therapeutic thing for another person to do, is to tell them who they are. Just kind of let those things out, like you were saying with Ryan Mossberg, your previous conversation, right? It took him a while to maybe come out, right? But then when he did, it's just like, it was kind of a relief, right? You're able
Right.
to express yourself, and there can be a therapy in just expressing
absolutely.
yourself to another person. You know?
Well, that's why shrinks are paid $250 an hour. You know,
Yep.
like that's how much people want to express themselves,
Yes.
and sadly, a lot of us don't have that. You know,
Right.
but we can. We have it right here, right now. You know.
Yes.
So that's, and like you did
Yes.
at the gym, you've cultivated it. You've said, I have this area, I have this community, and I can bring them all together.
Yes.
In this fashion.
Yes.
We
You
can all
just-
we can all do that.
Man,
Yes.
that's been pretty interesting, man. Like my experience has been pretty different,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm glad Dave's been able to do that, right? Because people do need that avenue, because people do show up to jiu-jitsu for different reasons, right? And sometimes, like for me, I've had to be, essential, right? And most of my focus, all of my focus is on my regular day job,
Right.
But jiu-jitsu was like my regular outlet.
Right.
Like my regular job, it demands a lot of focus, right? A lot of demands. But at the end of the day, you can go and train, and helping other people, just like Dave was talking about, like letting them talk to you, right? It's therapy for them,
Right.
but sometimes just giving back and helping people, being there for them, is therapy for you too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a full circle. So the reason I was saying my experience has been different is like I still have everything regular life has to offer,
Right.
right? Only that there's more demands now, right?
Right.
But the one thing that kind of balanced all that,
Is gone.
yeah, it's gone,
Right.
right? And it's trippy, right? It's trippy,
Right.
but
We're all
Yeah.
dealing with that.
Yeah.
We're all dealing with that fact that life has changed now, right?
Yeah.
And you can't. You just have to address it, right? Life has
Yeah.
changed. We're all going through these changes in all different aspects of our life. But you just have to, address the issue. That's really all it is, right? If you talk about somebody who's going or is going to be successful, right, at anything, like they have a goal, they set their sights on it, they're trying to accomplish their goal, right? Well, the path, it's not a straight line, right? And we all know that it's just like, it's like this, thing that takes us all different ways. But as long as you keep your sight, you're going to hit your mark, but it's not going to be in the way you thought. And so that's what we're having to do. We all have our mark, our course of life, and we've a little rattling occurred, right? Our foundation's been shook a little bit, but we're still just navigating, right? We're trying to navigate together, but we still have that sight, and we just have to change things up a little bit. And that's all. That's all we gotta do. That's all we can do. And so, yeah, we're just still on route to those things that we want, right?
Yep, that first week of quarantine, like I just gave it a pass because Kelsey and I drank way too much. We ate way too much. We made brownies and cookies. But I was like, this is the week of everything has changed. This is the week of just trying to let it kind of settle.
Resonate.
And and then that second week, it was like, okay, no more of this consumption. Let's figure out how to navigate this. And then by week 3, we kind of had a routine. It's like we need to get up at this time. We need to have lunch, and now we plan out our dinners and stuff. And then I don't know, what is this, week 3 or 4? We're cruising pretty good,
right?
And hopefully everyone is kind of adjusting in that similar fashion,
Man, yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of still in the let things be mode.
Settle
but
down.
my daughter, she's getting up and she's starting to move around and she's getting a different routine. And my son, he's still trying to live that summer. He's trying to live that summer life, and so he's staying up late and so we're going to be taking some steps to make sure he's, keeping his routines and trying to keep, his, academics going, and making sure he's just staying productive to whatever capacity that is, because it's this whole life change. We're all going through it, and just make the best of it. And,
How's this changed your?
I worked from home already, so that wasn't too bad. But having Kelsey here, it's been interesting because there's a dynamic. She wasn't
home a lot.
No, she'd be gone from 8 to 5 or whatever. So I was usually by myself in here doing stuff or on the computer. But now it's kind of, okay, so she's in another room. I got to make sure that she's good or whatever. Not going anywhere. I used to be able to, jiu-jitsu or like we would go out for a drink or something, and that would be kind of the relaxing time. We don't have that. So going to the gym, you can't go to the gym, which is, you saw all my workout gear there, and thankfully I got a backyard. But a lot of that's what I was going to kind of talk about. A lot of it, of the pandemic, the situation has kind of showed us what the things that we think we need. I thought that I needed a squat rack. Like, I need a squat rack. I can't squat. I can't work out. And then slowly I'm like, well, I can just do body squats right here in my living room, And
you got to adapt.
Right? That's exactly right. Yeah.
But how many people got that mindset, though?
Not many, but you can cultivate it, right? You can. You could.
But that has to be your focus. You have to intentionally focus on that. If not, you're doing whatever, and you're not taking control of those things.
That's why I was saying, like, I'm glad Dave is still doing what he's doing right now, because that's what, like, I was happy about doing jiu-jitsu. I mean, like, teaching jiu-jitsu is I was actually helping people like better themselves in that avenue. Right. And,
there's still something always we can do, though, right? Like, something can be taken away from you, but
because like, here's the crazy thing about jiu-jitsu, right? Like, the way I think about it.
And you're brown belt, right? Black. You're black belt. I got 2 black belts in here,
yeah,
and I'm in the corner, bro.
Oh yeah, watch your step.
Can I have all the coffee you want? I put some tranquilizer in that coffee just to keep me safe.
I can feel it, but
it doesn't affect him. Eric's like, you should have put horse tranquilizer in that.
When I was a brown
it's like when a snake bites Eric, the venom gets pushed right back out because he's like,
oh my god.
But anyway, like what I was saying about helping people in jiu-jitsu, right?
I'm sorry, dude. I knew that was going to happen. I was so curious.
No, but...
You're talking about the crazy thing about jiu-jitsu and how it affects you.
Yeah, but people come to the gym, right? And Dave can tell you this too, right? A lot of jiu-jitsu people who teach will tell you this, right? They'll come in, at first, they really don't know what they're looking for, right? Like, I didn't know what I was looking for, right? I thought I was there because I needed to stay fit. I was looking for something to keep me fit.
Right.
But 8-9 years down the line, like, it's going to change my life. Right. But people don't know that. The first time you come in, you don't know that. Right. But you can see a lot of the weaknesses in people. Right. I'm not trying to put it like in a bad way. Right. But you can see it. Right. And as a jiu-jitsu teacher, or just as a human, you feel like you have to help them with that. They don't see it, but you can see it, right?
Well, now you've matured in that mindset.
Yes.
And you know the benefits it's given you.
Yes.
And then so you feel that responsibility
to nurture them.
To nurture that in another human being, so that way they can grow into that person that has got that mental fortitude that you have now.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And so that's the journey. Like, that's the evolution of what we do. It's, you start out not knowing why. Everybody needs a thing. Everybody needs a thing to kind of keep them in tune, collected in life, right? An outlet or whatever. But then you realize that thing has got more value than you thought. And then so when you find that value, then you see all the benefits in your life, and then you start to see how you put that out there, and you see how it changes. It has positive effects on the people around you. Mm-hmm. Well, then it becomes an obligation, or it has for me. You know what I mean? I know you feel the same way as far as like wanting to help others now. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things that you build others up, and you will never go wrong. You will never go wrong.
There's something powerful and good about that, right? And it kind of spreads in my life, right? So this is one thing about jiu-jitsu, right, that I think about a lot nowadays, right? Like I told Dave this the other day, a while back, but I'm kind of pretty different.
What?
Whatever. No. Whatever, right?
Check out that shirt.
But right?
Styling.
You know what? But you know what? It's all right.
That's right.
We're all pretty different, right? We're all different people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
That's the beauty of it. Like, that's the beauty of it, is we all, like we talked about before, coming in here, we're able to put our imprint on the world right today, for this moment, for this conversation, and it'll reflect in the things you say.
Yeah. So like what jiu-jitsu did for me, right? Like it helped me to be able to fit other people into my life, right? Like I don't like anything that's not like me, right?
Like what?
Like I don't know. Like that's a weird look.
That's
right?
a good question.
That's a weird look, right?
Sorry.
He's a stimulator.
But
Stimulating.
like,
I'm just curious how you mean. Like like do you don't like to bowl, like maybe something like that? Like like you just like, not that you don't like not that you're like hating bowling, but like you just don't care for it.
Yeah, I don't care for it, right? And if people try to make me bowl, right, like I don't want to be around that.
Right. I hear you.
Right. So I want things that are like me, right? And when I found jiu-jitsu, right, I found this group of people that was somewhat like me, right? And that's all I want in my circle, right? But it's okay, right? But it helped me to relate to a lot of different people, that are not like me.
Oh yeah,
right? Like freaking Dave, right?
A complete 180.
I know.
I'd just like to say.
No, like because we talk about like this Black Knight, White Knight there, right? Me and Dave, right? Like he's pretty clean cut, right? Right?
Yeah, looks good.
All right. His jiu-jitsu lineage, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a narrow, straight, right?
But if you really got to know me, you would know that my arrow is pretty crooked. Like it's so when it goes, it'll just like like that's it right there.
Yeah, all right. But then mine is like kind of
right.
You know, but I can blend in well with Dave.
Yeah,
right? Like I can. We've meshed together well, right? And without jiu-jitsu, I don't know if I would have ever had that.
Right.
Brotherhood.
Right.
And it's freaking...
I find that similar with a lot of the police force that comes and rolls with us.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of friends that are in that position. Right. And before jiu-jitsu, you could have even maybe said I'm anti-police, you know? But then rolling with and just hanging out with, Jeff and those guys and Seth, they're just people.
I know, right?
They're just people. They're cool as hell. And now I have a different appreciation for those type. So when I get pulled over and I'm like, oh, this fucking pig or whatever. No, I'm like, this is the guy doing his job. I sped. I'm doing whatever. Like I have a much clearer connection with that figure, from jiu-jitsu.
When I was 20 years old, I would have never thought, right, like I would be in a position to help a police officer.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying when I was 17, like I was like...
It's very... it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting.
I'm in this position because where I feel like I have
to do the... I mean, we're doing the same things, right, with our lives. And I get people from all walks of life, right? People walk through the door they have got 100 different histories, right? 100 different backgrounds. They got, you know, and their jobs, you know, they're professionals and all of these things, right? People from all walks of life. We are able to connect on common grounds, and then we build up on that, right? That's one of the things that I love about it. It's like we're able to all connect on the same level, and just be peers. It doesn't matter who you are or what you really are and what you've really done with your life, right? You're still just a human being, and if you're always trying to just connect with another person on that level, man, you're just going to make a lot of friends, and they're going to help you, and you're going to help them, and it's just going to be a harmonious existence. And like that's what I try for. Is there's so many people in my life, right? I have different relationships with so many different people, right? I treat everybody accordingly, right? People are all different, and I try to have the best relationship I can with certain people, but certain people are just harder to deal with, right? And I know that, and like I was talking to Noé, the guy that was doing the pilgrimage, you know.
Okay.
So he was at my gym, and I was like, you know, we have to watch ourselves. We have to watch ourselves, right? We got to protect certain things, because I can hate on somebody. Like, I can legitimately let that come into my heart, and I can, like, see somebody and for whatever reason not like them, or I can start putting that in my head that I don't like that person for this or that or whatever. And it's like, I got to control, I got to make, because I know people hate on me. Like, we all have haters, right? People, it's a human instinct. People have that in them to, like, that guy, he's very successful, or he's got a lot of money, or he's this or that and the other. And it's like, and then we're like, well, I don't like him now. You know, like, like right now, people will help out a business, a multi-million-dollar business, before they will help out their friend, because of that jealousy aspect. They see somebody else who's doing something and achieving something, and it's like, they're like, I don't want, and it's just such a funny thing that they would rather take their money to Walmart than they would help a local coffee shop, or just because that exists, and they're like, they don't want to almost see somebody else succeed. And so when you see somebody else succeeding, there's that aspect of others around you not wanting you to be successful, right? And that's something I've experienced, and I have, like I said, I have different relationships with a lot of different people, and I feel that out there. Like, I feel people don't want me to succeed, and that's okay. Like, that just that fuels me. And I know you feel the same way. Like, you have got relationships,
rough, right?
I
feel that, right? But then a lot of times, like, I always try to look at myself.
Right. That's all you can do.
Because I feel like people, as much as, I feel like I'm different, they're a reflection of me, right? So I've got that in me too.
Right.
Like, I hate on people.
Sure. Well, we all do, right?
So,
yes.
And I don't want to, right? But I got to train myself to catch myself.
You're in tune. You're in tune with it, right?
Yes.
And then so you try to make that not a part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Because I do it too, and I try to make that not a part of my life, because I don't want to be that person, right? I don't want to be that person that's like, having bad thoughts about this person or that person. Like, because I try to keep things positive. I know you're the same way. I know you're the same way. Like,
Dude, that's why you have, like, a small group of friends.
Right.
Right. Yep. That's why you have small groups of friends. Right. Like, you could count how many people you hang out with.
Right.
Yep.
Can you?
Oh yeah.
I can.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. Well, because we're selective now. Like, we're becoming more mature, whatever, and we're selective when we see what life is, and we see the types of people that are out there. Certain people I don't want to surround myself with. Like, there are people I can tell you right now that I would never hang out with them because of the person that they are, right? Just the person that would try to scam somebody else or get one over on somebody. Why would you put yourself in a situation where you're befriending that guy? Because then he's going to start to make you kind of like him, and it's like, no, I don't want people like that in my circle. I want people like Colton Seifert in my circle. I want people like Eric Onyango in my circle, and those are the people that I keep, right? And the more I keep people like that, the better it's going to be for me. And so that is what I try to cultivate, and I know you do the same thing. You know, we all do that, but we there's just certain things that we have to be careful of, and we need to acknowledge them, right? So that way we are always training ourselves to try to be the best person that we can to everybody, right? And as long as you're looking inside yourself all the time, then you're able to reflect that outward, and then hopefully some of that will rub off on somebody else, and then it just kind of keeps the positive cycle.
Acknowledging was the word that I was going to say earlier. Like, you acknowledge that, man, I'm being an asshole right now. Like, why? And then once you acknowledge it, then you're able to, like, not choose it.
Man, but here's the
choose to be good.
Here's the trippy side of that, right? Like, there's levels to asshole.
Right.
No, really, right?
Yes.
Like, what Dave might think is an asshole, I don't think is an asshole.
Right.
Right?
We're all different.
Relative, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a complex thing.
So you just have to, so in that sense, you just have to deal with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, whatever
that's what I mean. Like, I always try to, like, turn it on me, right?
Right.
Like, I know there's haters out there, right? And I can't really help that.
Yeah.
But what I can help is me.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
And then you. So if I'm around you and I'm your real friend, right? And freaking Dave, right? if I see Dave hating on somebody, I'll be like, man, Dave, I know you don't want to hear this, right? I know you don't want to hear this, but right now you're hating.
Right.
You're hating, and it's going to be a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It is sometimes, but we need that. We need that. We need, and those are the people that are actually, like, studies show that the people that are the realest with you, and like, sometimes you're like, man, why was he so harsh on me? Well, those are the people that actually care more
no doubt.
for you, because they're just showing a little bit of your flaw, and they're trying to help you get a little correction in your life. And it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, but we need that. Like,
they know that you can be better.
Need that.
You know, like,
it's the coach's mentality, right? Like, so, you know, you have a young athlete comes in here, he's boastful, he's, you know, he wants to achieve excellence, but then he's also a jerk on the side, and you want to not only help him do the things he needs to do to excel, you know, in the ring, on the mats, or wherever, right? Be the best he can be as far as an athlete. But then you want to also try to help him make sure he's doing the right things on the side. And so you're just building, you know, that person into the best person that they can be. And if that's the mentality you keep towards all the people around you, then, you know, you could possibly help somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's goes back to what you're talking about, jiu-jitsu. It's much, much more than a technique on how to put someone in an arm bar.
Right.
You're building not only a skill, a martial art, but you're also building their mental fortitude. You're also building their spiritual side. They have to use the fires of jiu-jitsu to go through their soul and figure out, like, what's wrong in there. What can be better after all this? Because
and then if everybody's doing that,
right,
and you're just constantly refining the people around you, and that's one of the things that it
iron sharpens iron type
that's
thing.
Right. That's right. Yes.
Crazy, man. Right.
It's awesome to just know that we're a part of it, and we're able to do the things that we can do with what we have for the people around us, you know, and as long as we're doing that, then we're doing something. Then we got our sights set on the right things, you know, and that's all we can do. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to be doing with our daily, right?
And so you guys were doing this before the whole pandemic, you know. You guys were training, teaching people, you know, helping the community. But now it's like even more exacerbated because of the strange times that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, things blossom out of that we didn't anticipate.
Yep. Yeah, just like you said last time, right? We're burning the dead wood like dead wood, right? Jordan Peterson. And that's what we're doing, you know, and you know, and so we just gotta, you know, shed. We gotta shed.
Talk to me about that. What do you mean by that? Like burning the.
So, like, you know, like if you have a forest fire, right? You have a forest fire. It completely it devastates the area, but then over time, it puts the nutrients back in the earth to create new life and better life. And so, in a way, that's what's happening right now to us. We're shedding off, parts of our lives, and so, like,
but isn't that what always happens?
Sure.
Right? Like, it's always happening.
Yes.
It's
if you
always
choose,
happening.
that's what Jordan Peterson will say, that it's better to choose to burn your own dead wood than be forced.
Yes.
Because he says even in forest fires, naturally, it happens, I don't know, every few months or years or something. And the forest has evolved to handle that heat. But when humans came in and were like, no more forest fires, that dead wood kept piling up. So when the fire went, it got too hot, and then it killed the forests. We've obviously learned how to control these things, but spiritually, it is better to choose to burn off the dead woods, choose to let go of things that are not serving you any longer. Might have served you before, but now they're hindering you. Choose to let that go, because for it to be taken from you, it's very hard.
You know how hard that is?
It is very hard.
Well, that's when you have to look into yourself. Yes.
Right?
We all have to do that. Yeah.
Because, like, this is how I've learned to start looking at it, and I just started looking at it this way here recently, right? It's a version of you that's dying.
Right.
Right? Like, whatever, like, if I have a part of me that hates on you for, like, having this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a hater on Colton for that. Like, whenever I let go of that and I become a better person, like I become beyond that, that part of me dies.
Right.
And nothing likes to die.
No.
Right? So it's tough to change.
It's tough to kill it. It's tough to kill it. It becomes habit, like it's almost a habit sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, like, we all have these habits, and when you acknowledge them and see them, and you know they're not the best thing, then you know you have to try to shed them, right? But then they're there, they still try to come back, right? They still try to come back. So it's like certain things we gotta watch. We gotta watch and try to control in the best ability that we can. You know?
Right. I was thinking about, this is gonna sound weird, I was thinking about suicidal thoughts the other day. I was like, what are these? What? Sorry, I'm going there. It's like, what are these? Why do we have these? Why are they coming in? And after I thought about it for a while and I was writing on it, what I think is that it's a part of me that's whispering in my ear that I need to get rid of. But it's like, if you kill me, you kill it. You'll kill all of us. And it's like, wait, no. I can just separate you and push you off or burn you away or kill you. And the me will still be there, but it keeps whispering in my ear like, if I go, you go.
It's also, it's interesting you say that, because it's also a testament to the times, right? So in 2008, we had our recession, right? The housing market bubble burst, and 8 months after that, after 8 months, we had, I don't know, I forget the 8 million or 3 million unemployment, right? So this deal created that in the first month, right? Right now, suicide lines, the suicide calls are up.
I don't believe it.
Or they are up like 200% from previous months. So what does that tell you? It's like something everybody needs to look in themselves and take serious, because it just really is a serious thing. And like you said, some people are taking it certain different ways and not being so serious about certain things. But the fact of the matter is it's a reality, right? And you have to address it as such, and then look inside yourself.
So if, like, when it struck home for me, like, it struck home a long time ago.
Sure.
For us here, right? We know each other through jiu-jitsu, right? When was the last time he rolled? Like, had a good roll, right? Like, the last time I did was when we went to Kansas City. Like, that was my last good session, right? When was the last time you had a good...
Springfield? Remember we went... You went to Springfield.
Was that before or after?
That was after Kansas City.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, because that was before PANS. That was going to be the PANS camp before PANS. You know, and PANS is usually March... When is it? March 15th? That's like the middle of March, right? And so it was like the beginning of March.
I'm just greedy.
The beginning of March is like kind of like before
Yeah. Then I must have had more than I thought I did. I'm just feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, when the last time I
haven't rolled since 2017.
But it's all right.
Well, and it just goes to show you like how much you think about it, because it's like, oh, it's been 6 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been 6 months because it's such a huge part of our lives that it just was kind of cut, and then so that
So let me put this out there, right? Anyway, is it really that bad then, right? For us, right? Should we just suck it up? Just suck it. It'll be okay, man. Suck it up.
It will be. It will be okay. Yeah. But no, I miss it.
What can you do? What can you do right now? Yeah. Right?
And we can roll.
That's what we're all. That's one of the struggles, right? That's it legitimately is one of the struggles.
So what if he just like attacked you right now?
If he attacked me?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I would be like back in the zone, like just like that, right?
I'm just waiting for trash talk to come from this end of the table. Like, this podcast sucks. This coffee is shit. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yes. This is what I wanted.
And it's funny you say that because like my situation is different from yours, and so at work somebody was jacking around a little bit, and it's I'm just saying, right? He came up on me and I'm like, bro, get yourself away, and so anyways, good experience, good little time, exchange of energy, and then I moved on with my life.
See, what we can take, what we can look forward to is the roles post-pandemic. Yeah. They're going to be so good because we're all pent up with this 5-minute rolls. No. They're like 15-minute rolls.
Yeah, man.
All day. Open mat all day.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting back to whatever capacity we'll be able to, and I'm looking forward to dealing with...
What do you mean, whatever capacity?
To however we're going to be able to get back to doing what we used to do before. Right? That's been completely changed now. And so, right, we're going to have to take the steps. We're going to have to do the right things to get back to where we were, to a new norm, like you were talking about. It'd be a new norm. And but I'm looking forward to that. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to sharing my time and my energy with those people that I want that want me to help them, right? Because like that was a big part of my life. It was plucked out of it, and we're all trying to deal with that in different ways. But such an awesome time with other human beings when you get to exchange that positive energy on a daily basis. And so just ready. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure, like you're talking about how you're trying to deal with it, and we all are, but it's just like one of those things. It's like we do have to suck it up right now. We just have to suck it up, right?
But it'll be okay.
It will be. It will be.
So I keep thinking like sometimes, right? I'm like, man, this stuff was made for people like me, right? Because I don't worry too much about stuff, right? Because it is what it is, right? Like you're either gonna make it or you won't, right? But in the meantime, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna want you to make it. I'm gonna try to help you make it as well, right? But I might go down, right? So it'll be okay. Just
man, you ain't going nowhere.
Live your
You're
life.
Not going anywhere. Get out here with all that negativity.
I'm not trying to be
You're
negative.
not going down. We're going up. Moving on up.
I think you understood what I was.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's what Dave does to me.
It's that Aztec in him, bro.
I do.
The Mexica.
Aztec Wars.
Oh, my Aztec.
They were gnarly. You're talking like sacrifice yourself in a way. Like you're willing to sacrifice?
Like I'm...
That's what I took. That's what I took from it. You're saying I'm willing... I take things, I don't worry, but if other people worry, like I'm willing to step in and help them, even if it's at my detriment. That's what that's what I understood. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Maybe I was good. Maybe I should have gone with Dave on that one.
No. I was made for stuff like this.
Right.
Like, if you're hurting right now, let me know. Right. Like, I'm good.
I hear you.
Right. If you need something, let me know.
Yep. Right.
Right. I'm not out here trying to hurt people or whatever. Right. Or spread it, whatever. Right. I'm being cautious. I see, right. Yeah. But if you need something, right. I'm one of those that's ready to help. Right. Because there's a lot of people running around with like chickens with their heads cut off.
Well, and and what are their interests? Right. We all have our own interests.
No. Like,
but what I'm saying is,
let me put it this way.
Sure.
Right. Let me put it this way. Right. They're sheep. Right. And then there's sheepdogs. Right. So I feel like I'm a sheepdog.
Right. And at least in this situation.
Yes. At least I feel like I'm not going to go down crying, right? Like I'm not going to be in a corner cowering when it's my time to go.
Well, that's good.
Right?
See,
I'll be out trying to help Dave if Dave's in trouble, if you're in trouble, like I feel like that's where my spirit is.
Good.
I feel
that's
like
powerful, bro.
But that's how you should be. Like that's how we need to live. That's what I'm like. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. Yeah. Right.
See, I feel like a lot of people are sheep, and I feel like personally I'm more of like a lion, right? Or like some kind of an eagle. Okay. Like an eagle that will just but.
I'm a peacock.
Dude, they can fly. Like if they run fast, they can a little bit, and then they're. That's funny.
No, that's good. I mean, sheep need a sheepdog. I don't know about an eagle, but you know.
They do.
Eagles eat sheep.
No, but I mean,
sometimes you have to eat the sheep. Sometimes you have to burn off the dead wood, right? Sometimes that's what. That's just part of.
That's a
humanity.
T-shirt. Sometimes you got to eat the sheep.
Sometimes you have to eat the sheep.
No, but I don't know.
It's a good analogy. I like that. I appreciate it.
I've been hearing this other thing about. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't take it there. But I will.
This can go anywhere. This can go anywhere.
It's just us and the people of the internet.
That's right.
There might be a meat crisis.
Bro, I don't think so.
Now with this guns around, boom.
We'll eat this arm first. I don't need this arm.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Are you worried about it?
Right. No.
I'm not worried about it.
Right, so, I'm part of the group that's not worried about it. Mm-hmm. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Right? Pretty soon you're going to hear maybe there's a banana crisis.
Okay, I'm definitely worried about that. I cannot grow my own bananas, dude.
I'm good. Right, it'll be all right. Like, things will be okay. Like, we need to stop running around worried so much.
Yeah,
we need to hear that. That's something we need to hear.
Everything would be more efficient if we just kept a cool head. Like the whole toilet paper situation. If people would have just purchased the toilet paper that they needed rather than just gone and wiped the shelves out, everyone most likely would have got the amount of toilet paper that they needed. Maybe we would have probably would have ran out, but more is coming. Like you just kind of keep it steady rather than this huge spike of panic, and then things kind of get out of control, and then it spreads like a virus, and then things are much, much worse than they really are, even if they are pretty bad. If you keep a level head and you have a sheepdog and an eagle and an aardvark around.
A what?
An aardvark.
Oh, aardvarks are so useful.
What is that? What?
Oh, love me some aardvarks.
Right,
that was the best.
Show us what an aardvark is.
That's the best.
Show us what is up right now.
So
Eric needs the education. We'll go educate you right now.
Aardvark, bro.
Aardvark.
Right there. That thing right there.
Damn. Hey, see that nose? Look at that nose.
Like
what does it do?
I don't know.
Show us. Tell us its purpose.
Dude, it eats ants, perhaps?
Yes.
I don't know.
And it's got a long tongue, and it will stick that
that's
tongue.
an anteater.
Oh, what's the aardvark?
I don't know, dude. This is like something way deep in my mind.
No, but it has a long tongue.
That my grandma read me out of a National Geographic book.
A snout like that. I bet you eagles would eat that. See, like that would be a nice little snack.
You're right, dude. He's from Africa. Look at his claws. Those claws would mess an eagle up, bro.
You don't know about an aardvark? They're from Africa.
Look at that. It's like a possum with claws, bro.
Darkness.
Such a beautiful creature. Such a beautiful creature.
You gotta say darkness.
Right.
Brother, darkness.
Porcupine's about to throw
You
down.
better watch out. That porcupine's got the blades of death.
Anyway, Aardvarks.
Man, all right.
Interesting, right? Yeah, we should just watch it afterwards. So, Dave was telling me that originally you're from Kenya.
Yes. I knew, yeah.
Yeah, tell us that story.
What's the story? Right. Born, raised in Kenya, right? Born in, where is it? It's a lake, the lake region.
Okay.
Right? Lake Victoria region. Place called Kisumu. That's where I was born.
Okay.
Kisumu, right? Man, why am I putting all this stuff out here?
This is good.
I'm interested.
We're just having a conversation.
Well,
I'm interested.
I know, but I'm pretty reserved, right?
This is an opportunity for us to see who you are.
Yeah. Anyway,
And it's good for people.
yeah, sure. Born in Kisumu, grew up in Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
Moved to the States when I was 20.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That was 19 years ago.
Wow.
Yep.
What
2001.
What do Kenyans speak?
2001. Swahili and English.
Swahili.
Swahili and English.
Can you speak some Swahili?
Yep, I can.
Well, I mean, you lived there till you're 20, so.
Yep, I can speak Swahili.
Yeah. Have you ran into any Swahili speakers around here?
Yep.
Really?
My wife is a Swahili
Well, no,
speaker.
yeah, I mean. Do you talk in Swahili every once in a while?
Pretty much almost every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
What?
You should have her on one time.
That would be awesome.
She would love it.
Yeah,
she's
that
all
would be
about
awesome.
that business.
She should come on.
That
That
would
would
be
be. She'd be a good guest.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
No, she would be. Yeah.
What's her name?
Anne.
Anne.
Yeah.
How do you how do you say hello? I remember like Jumbo or something like that.
Well, Jumbo is like more commercial, right? No, really. No, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
so,
me.
Jumbo, Sasa.
Sasa.
That's like what's up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sasa.
Yeah. Sasa.
Nice. Cool.
It also means a dip that Hispanic.
Salsa.
Yeah, it's good. It has multiple meanings.
Dave's like, yeah, I'll take some.
I'll take some salsa.
Salsa, yeah.
Full day.
That's funny.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do.
Like-
I do. I went to Mexico for 2 years when I was from 9
I
years
taught
old.
him everything he knows.
This guy. He's taught me so much. That is so true. True statement. I went to Mexico for 2 years, and then I picked it up as a kid, and it stuck. My friends at work make fun of me, because I haven't used it since. I don't use it all the time, but a couple of them I speak to now, and but it's working out great because now I can give this other group of people a hard time in a different language.
Yeah, right.
It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
He actually came over to buy a speaker, old surround sound system that I had, and he came to he had a friend that wanted to buy it, and I just let it go for whatever, just to help his friend out. And anyways, he came over yesterday, and so his buddy was Hispanic also, and so I was conversing with my buddy like I do at work, and then his buddy was there, and so I was like, "Are you gonna buy this? Yeah, it's got everything there, it works. It's a great little system. It's just 20 years old, Anyways, I was like, this is your friend, huh? I was like, man, you should, in Spanish, I was like, yeah, you should choose better friends, He's a good guy. He's my buddy from work. But anyways, and then talking about burning off old wood, this surround sound, I've had it for, 20 years, 20 years, and I held on to it it was this thing of pride for me, and I loved it, and I used to, and then, but for the last probably 10 years, never worked, I mean, I didn't use it. It was just there, but I wanted it, I just kept it, and so we do that with live. We hold on to things, and so it was just time for me to. I got a new little sound bar, and so it was time for me to get rid of that. And it was funny too, cause I had all these cables, right? Because it took the cables that go to the speakers, and all these cables behind my TV, and this was my surround sound system, And so I took that all out, and I took all these cables out from behind my TV. It was all dusty, I took all these things out, and I held it up in my hand like this, and I told my wife, I said, see this right here? this is proof that you hold on to the past. You should just let some things go. And then I went through it away, but it was all my stuff, so it was just a funny little exchange.
It's like a Confucius moment.
Yeah.
Like professing wisdom. Hear and this, then, wife.
And then, of course, he just looks at me like, you're an idiot. Get out of here.
I would have been like, yes, you're right.
A lot of people think that about me, and I'm okay with it. Whatever,
right. No, I know it's true, though. Like, I think going through, we don't have much ritual in America, but like doing small things like that, like Casey had a bonfire one time.
It's true.
It's true, bro. What's so funny?
No, I was thinking about
what is so funny?
I was thinking about rituals.
Well, what rituals?
What kind of ritual do you do?
No, not that I
have you. Okay, I have one question.
Yes.
Have you ever killed a chicken?
Yeah.
Ritually?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's
how do you ritually kill the chicken?
I don't know.
That would really worry me.
I don't know. That would be weird, right?
I have.
But
have you?
why?
I never. I would.
Why?
I don't. I probably. I want to now.
Let's help people.
Yes.
Why? So for people who are listening, right?
Yes.
Why do people ritually collect Walmart bags in a drawer?
That's true.
Right, so that's one thing that you could help people with today.
Just taking those to the recycle center.
Just don't do it.
Throw them away.
Don't stop collecting them.
That would be a positive. That would be a positive thing.
Get rid of it after you're done with it. I don't know, but
no, that's true.
Or like an extra bag, right? Like an extra bag. Like certain things come into your house and they're in a secondary containment unit, right? And you open the bag. Yeah, you open the bag, right? You open the bag and then you got all these Snickers in there. But that other bag, the other bag is like really useful because now all these Snickers can just fall out. Why not take that?
Reusable bags.
Yeah, you put the Snickers in a reusable bag. You throw the old bag out.
Reusable bags, way to go.
Yeah.
But like having a drawer in your house.
The junk drawer.
No, full of Walmart bags.
Oh, yeah.
You've never
Were you sweeping around my kitchen in there?
No.
We all
because I have that.
Like,
I have
you've
that
never
drawer.
seen those?
No, I have that drawer, dude.
That's a battle. We all have that battle. We all keep things in excess we think we need, right? And so then that becomes a drawer full of bags, or a speaker system full of wires.
Did I send you that
keep around.
Before and after picture I did at my house one time?
You did because we were going through the same struggles at this point in our lives, and we were relating.
We're trying to help each other with that.
The Walmart bag level, right?
And
because we were both
before and after.
Did some decluttering.
Yeah, and so the conversation was.
But the virus is back. There's more bags again.
I've been using them.
It's a strong virus,
bro.
But
I hear you.
I will prevel.
I've been using them on my feet, on my hands. I use the bags.
Sheepdog will prevail.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a constant battle. You continually have to address it, because it likes to jump. So like, I got the Walmart bag thing under control, and then you walk in your room and you're like, how many socks do I own? It just keeps hopping around. You got to keep that thing in check.
That's it.
That thing lives in my house.
Yeah,
that thing lives in my house.
The thing is, you're not alone. Like we both, and everyone listening probably could. If you go, do you collect something that you shouldn't collect?
The SciFi show.
The things come into their mind immediately, and they're like, "Yep." They can just see it. They can see that closet, or they can see that drawer, or they can see that room.
Well, you have a reason, and there's a value for it in your life, and somebody else may not even be able to relate on certain things, but it's something that's important to you. And I had a buddy at work, his mom passed away, and he's going through her house, and then he said one of her kitchen drawers, had a bunch of not zip ties, but the little twisty ties for the bread bags, and so those were something that she was reusing in her life to some degree, but then she also there was a bunch of them, right? And we all have that. We all have that because it's something we think we need and we hold on to it. And
like
sometimes
geese.
Yeah, gees. Oh,
how many geese you own?
I got a problem. Dude, I've got.
How many geese do you guys own between the two of you?
What do you think your number is right now?
Mine?
Yeah, what's your number?
Really?
Try to think.
I'm thinking. What do you think? Like 15?
Maybe 5.
Okay, good.
Dude, I probably have like 11, at least 11 or 12. Like I'm in that. Yeah, I have a problem.
But you're instructors though.
Yeah.
Like you got to have a clean one every
time.
day. Yeah,
every
you
time.
can't be
But
waiting for the wash.
How many times do you roll in a week? Like in a week, how many sessions will you go to?
My sessions per week, I would say, go between 3 and 5. Like that was my life. 3 and 5 in a week.
3 and 5, right?
Every week.
So
every week.
3 and 5 sessions. Do you wash your gis after every class?
I do.
Right? So
Yep.
why do you need more than 5? Right?
Yeah.
So I
cool
rotate
colors. You
between-
need cool colors.
They come in and I rotate them and they
But anyway,
they cycle.
Yeah.
But
See,
we all
that's what I
have
mean. Like
those
people are
things.
different.
Mhm.
People are different. People are different.
That's why you have to keep it. You have to answer the question.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you get
do
it,
I
yeah.
have a problem with
Yeah.
gis? Because I could be like, geez, Eric, how many gis do you own? You have a
Mhm.
problem, and you'd be like, no, I use all of them. Like they're helpful for me. If you can answer that, well, who
Yeah.
cares what I think? You know.
Yeah, and I got to check myself. I got to go home and now actually count them and be like, I got to make sure I got 5 gis.
Right, 5 strong gis.
But
Yeah,
it's
'cause I
funny
can't- I
because
can't-
like
yeah.
what's important to Eric might not be important to me. You know,
Exactly.
one
Yep.
person's
Exactly.
one
Yep.
person's trash is another man's treasure, and like I said, we all have those things that
Right.
we hold on to because we think that they're of value.
Right.
And at the end of the day, what really
Yeah.
matters is as long as you think and you need it, and but then
Mhm.
also you see that that's
Mhm.
there, that's a part of your life, right? And we just manage those. We all have so many of those things like
Man,
that.
So this is
Mhm.
the other crazy thing I was telling you, that I don't like people that are not like me.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So whenever somebody tries to put values,
Mhm.
right, that are theirs,
Mm.
like on you, right?
Right.
Like if I try to somehow make Dave see that, hey man, you really don't need 11 gis. 5 is good. Like that's a
Right.
tough battle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I'm be like, dude, shut your
Shut your
face. You
mouth.
shut your face.
It
You don't
depen-
know. Don't tell me how to live my life in these tough times. I need all the geese. I need them all.
Right, Dave, calm down. A little less coffee. But
Yeah.
if you had a compelling argument, I
Yeah.
would listen. I
Yeah.
would say like, well, why do you think these are too
No,
many
but
gis? And you could be like,
The way I think
whatever,
about
I
it
don't
at the end of the day, right? The part of you that's alive that owns 11 gis has to die
Mm.
in order for the one that is only going to have 5 gis to live,
Mhm.
right? And that 11 gi you is not going to want to die.
No,
It's going to be tough.
no. That's why I was talking about the suicidal thoughts. I think that 11th gi
Yeah.
thing comes in and it's like, if you get rid of me, you're going too.
Yeah, we're
and you're
all
like, well,
going
shit.
down.
Exactly. But it's not true.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and get rid
Yeah,
of
you
that,
can, yeah,
and
you
you'll
can,
be
yeah.
fine. You'll actually
Yeah.
be better for
Yeah.
it. You will be Eric
Yeah.
2.0, Dave 2.0.
I know,
Anyway.
right? Yeah.
I would also like to just point out that in these tough times, having geese is very therapeutic, and it's a scientific fact that the more you have, the better your mental health will be. Anyways,
So Dave sent me this
That is
article.
hilarious, by the way. I was laughing my ass off.
Dave sent me this article yesterday. Not an article, but it was something he sent me that was on CNN about a Kenyan governor. That,
oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I forwarded
Right?
that to you because I
Right?
thought about you.
Yeah, but that kind of shows like what shapes my mentality, right? Like coming from government officials that operate like that
Mm-hmm.
to what we have now, or to what my family
So
gets to live with now.
a quick recap, right? What was this governor doing? Do you remember? Did you read the whole thing?
No,
I didn't read the whole thing, but like I saw it and it was kind of funny.
no, it's like a simulation, right? It's like,
no.
do you think if it's
This
a
one?
real thing or not?
Yeah, he was putting liquor in some of the packaging of the
Right.
stuff.
This one? Hennessy bottles and coronavirus care
Yeah,
packages? Send one to me, dude.
That's the one I sent to Eric just to show him
right.
because I thought about you
I know, but
and it was
Yeah.
interesting.
So why did he do this?
I don't know. Play it. Play that. Can you play that?
This one?
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. Is it?
That's what I
Citizen
did.
TV Kenya.
Yeah. This will just probably explain what it did if you can get it.
It says we will have small bottles of Hennessy in the food packs that we will be giving to our people. And then the WHO warns that drinking alcohol does not protect against COVID-19 and can be dangerous.
He's just doubling up. He's trying to help his people.
No, so he actually said in the clip, he said that the WHO, World Health Organization, said that drinking alcohol will sanitize your throat or whatever. It'll help you to kill the virus. Right?
I have heard that.
Is Hennessy hooked up with this Kenyan governor? Like, hey, here's some cash.
Never know. There's always a backstory. There's always a backstory.
I don't care. I wish he'd send me a bottle.
No.
I need to kill this COVID.
Make Hennessy at your farm. No.
Not yet.
Think you could send some bourbon? Can you send some bourbon, maybe?
Not yet. Huh?
That's interesting.
No, but whenever I look at that, and then I look at what's being done now here, I'm like, man, we'll be all right. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Cases are going down, you know, and someone actually was talking to Kelsey the other day. This guy was kind of ranting about, well, the cases are going down. I think we should be able to re-enter society. And Kelsey goes, yeah, that's because everyone's staying home. That's why the cases are going down. So this would be like the worst time to re-enter and start things back up. And I said, that guy is probably the guy that takes 4 of his antibiotics and then forgets the other 4. Like, that'd be that guy. We go 2 more weeks and the cases cease, and then like we did overcome it. Like, we did what we needed to do. I get it. This is like crucial time. Everyone's kind of itching to get back into things. I get it. It's like we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Just got to keep doing the right things, you know, and we'll get past.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
We're getting there.
For sure.
We're getting there.
And you'll be glad you made it. Right?
Absolutely.
You'll be glad, like, man, I'm glad I lived through that. That was some tough times. But
it's just refining everybody. Like, so I was driving here, right, and it was a cool morning, and I opened my windows, right, and if I opened up one of my windows, right, I had some papers in the back that were just kind of like trying to, right, I just had some papers in my back, some bills or whatever, but if I started opening up some of the other windows and I adjusted the pressure, right, then the papers would not really,
balance
right?
out,
And so it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing we're dealing with. We're coming under lots of pressures, but then as long as we're able to manage that pressure and then, you know, let it come into our life, but also let it come out of our life and flow out of our life, then we're able to cruise through a tougher time, you know, with a little bit more ease.
See, this is why I miss my brother Dave.
That's a good analogy.
No, but this is
I
why
know. That's what I was thinking too.
No,
I'm sorry.
but this is why I miss Dave, right? Because these are my moments to ask Dave, why you got them papers in the back? Why don't you just get rid of the
because
papers?
I'll tell you what, man.
You don't have to balance it out, dog.
It's
you don't
just
have to
an
balance out the
analogy.
windows.
I get you. I appreciate that about. See, that's why I like him around me, because like he points out, like, you should just take care of your life a little bit better. And I know I should. I know I have so many problems, man. I've been trying to get rid of those papers for a month, but I hold on to things. I must have all the papers in my bag.
So Dave will come to my house and he'll be like, hey, why don't you clean up your backyard? Bro. Right? I'm like,
I told him not to look at my garage. He's like looking around, like, don't look in the garage. Dude.
Yeah, but then, you know, I got to look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I need to clean my backyard. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know it, right?
Yeah.
But when someone else says it, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But then you appreciate those guys.
Absolutely.
That just want to help you
Absolutely.
be better, right? That's just trying to help you be a little bit better.
Right.
So you have to look at it like that, but some people could take that and be like, how's this guy trying to tell me what to do? Well, I am the master of my own universe, and then like
that's the
I don't
ego.
wanna be hanging around with that guy anymore. Yeah. Or you can allow that to make you better, right? And so that's what we do. We always have these harmonious exchanges, and it's good. You know what I mean? It's good for us.
But sometimes, man, like for me, like. Me and you have got to that level where we can like dig deep into each other over like some little things. Right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like you gotta love somebody like a brother to be able to take it there and still
be friends afterwards. Yeah. It's good. It's all about self-discovery, right? And having that other person that's going to equally bounce those, the things that you could do better, bounce them off of you, right? It's good. It's good for us. You know what I mean? That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we all need. We all need to do that for others around us too, especially right now. You know what I mean? Like, tell somebody, and the best way you can that's going to help somebody else be built up by what you're telling them, but be real with them too, and just be like, hey, whatever, you suck at you not suck, but whatever. Don't say you suck at something, because I can send them into this whole world. But sometimes people need to be told they suck, right? Yeah. And if it's jokingly and you're like good with the whole exchange, then oh man, I do suck. I've been told I suck before, and it's been a good thing for me.
You gotta be careful about that though, right? Yeah. Like that person they have to be.
You have to know these people, right? And so you treat if
everyone, they're looking for help.
You treat everyone different, right? Yeah. Because some people you have different relationships with. Like I can joke with Eric and tell him that he sucks, Yeah. But one of my newer students is like, I want to make sure that I'm helping in the best ways that I can. And so, like I said, we have different relationships with a lot of different people,
right?
And we treat those relationships accordingly.
Right. Kind of like what Eric was saying. It's like someone that comes into jiu-jitsu for the first day, you see those inadequacies very clearly because that was you at one point. But you don't go over and go, you suck. You encourage. You build and then at some point, you've spent so much time with this person, you can go, can I be real with you? Like your guard sucks or whatever it is, or you need to not get so upset about tapping out. You can go to that level. You couldn't do that on day one. Because it would hurt so bad,
right?
That there would be too much dead wood being burnt.
You scare them away, and that's what you don't want to do. You always want to try. Like I said before, words build you up and they can tear you down. And if you're always careful about the things that you say to people and with the different relationships that you have, then you're gonna have better relationships with a lot more people. And then, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you always want to be that person that is helping others become better?
You kind of match the intensity. I remember meeting with my my mentor, Adam Ayers, and I was talking to him one time, and we started getting pretty deep, and I said, I just want you to obliterate my ego. I just want, speak freely and nuke me right now. And he looked at me with great concern, like, are you sure you want this to happen? I'm like, yes, I'm looking for this. I need this to happen. And literally, he opened a can of ultimate pain on me. But as I drove home, I was so thankful for that. But I gave him permission. Right. I said, go ahead, have at it.
Open season. You guys were in that point in your relationship where you could do that, and you knew that's what you wanted, that's what you needed, and you accepted.
I got to a point where I couldn't see. I was very blind, and I was like, I don't know how to become better. I don't know how to continue to transcend to become a better Colton. I need you to your wisdom to look at me and tell me what I'm not seeing. And he was gracious enough to kind of give me that pause of like, are you sure? Because this might hurt. This might hurt your ego a little bit.
Yeah, we all need that. Like we were talking last time, it's like you have to be 100% real with yourself. You know what I mean? You have to be 100% real with yourself. And like you mentioned one time to me that, we lie to ourselves all the time. And I brought that up on our last podcast, and it's true. It's so true. And like that was one of those things that you mentioned to me and resonated. And then you have to start looking inside yourself and making sense of your life, and then try to make the best of it. But it's little things like that help refine you and make you better. It's somebody else coming into your car, helping you adjust the air pressure, so that way you guys can continue down the road in a more harmonious way, right? They're helping you. They're a person that wants you to not have all your papers just shrubbling around in the backyard and the back seat of the car. They want to help you get rid of them, maybe because you should.
Well, another person that can speak truth. So if I go, if I'm looking at this water glass and I say, look at this aardvark on the table, and Eric's like, dude, that's a water glass. We can take in this case his truth and my lie, and apply them to each other, and then hopefully his truth wins out, and then my reality becomes synced back up with true reality. Now that's kind of a weird weird situation or whatever. But I mean, hopefully it makes sense. So it's in the sense of, you say, my car is clean. It's clean. Eric gets in and goes, there's papers everywhere, bro. And you're like, well, it's not that bad. And he goes, this is a bill from 2017, your water bill. It's like, just, all I got to do is toss it. You don't need
this in here.
Yeah, right. So his truth comes in, you can go, okay, you're probably right. And then your reality sinks back up.
Right.
It's Jordan Peterson's rule. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Yep.
At least don't lie. Because he says, who knows what the truth is? None of us really. Yeah. But we know what a lie is. We absolutely know what a lie is, or when we are lying, if we are truthful with ourselves.
Yeah.
So at least don't lie. If you don't have to clean your car, but at least don't call it clean. You know what I mean?
I do have to clean my car.
That's just the example that keeps coming up.
I have so many problems, bro. Thanks for bringing out all my problems.
If that is the biggest problem you have, you are living in paradise, bro. You're living in paradise.
So here's one thing that I was like concerned about. Like, whenever, we talked about coming to do this, I was like, that's one thing about, like, whenever me and Dave get together, right? Like, we always have to find a way to take each other to our dark spaces, right? And point out, like, something we can fix about each other. Like, it's just a relationship we have, right? Or that's how I look at it. And I value it, right? Absolutely. And for that reason, like, I always have to be around Dave. Right. Or I feel like I have to, check on him, make sure he's good, because he adds value to my life.
Right. It's those depth thoughts, those deep thoughts, not shallow. It's not like, what'd you have for breakfast? Which is fine. We can start there, but you guys will continue to dive into the depths of, like, how you been? Yeah. And then you have to address that. You know what I mean?
Man, you got to trust somebody to go that deep.
You absolutely do. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, like you talking about your mentor, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's like some of the roadblocks. Well, that's maybe one of my roadblocks to getting a mentor, right? To approaching somebody and being like, hey, because I've thought about it a lot. I'm like, I do have mentors right now, right? It's only that we've never officially said, hey, I want you to be my mentor. Sure. Right? Like my professor, Nick Sanders, he's a mentor of mine, right?
If there's been one thing that has affected me most in life, it is having a mentor or mentors where I said, let's meet like once a week or once every 2 weeks. Like, let's just meet and you're gonna ask me questions and I'm gonna ask you questions, whether it's what should I do with my life, or how should a marriage be, or whatever. Having those, I had about 3. I had a pastor, I had a medical doctor, and then just a friend. And those different minds, I think it says in the Bible, like, great counsel makes your path straight. Yeah. So if you actually have a person in your life that you look up to and could be a mentor, ask them, will you be my mentor? Yeah. That's the greatest, like, not only would you honor them, I think it would be like, oh, well, you think of me as a mentor? Yeah. Yes, I'd love to. People, like we talked about, people love to help people. And so when you ask someone to be a mentor of yours, it's like, help me guide myself through life, or help guide me through life. That's powerful. Yeah. That's powerful.
Yep. We all have those. We all have those in our past, and we all have them in our present, and they're going to be in our future. If you're willing to take the time to look for them and see them and find them, and just listen to the things that people have to say. That's what I mentioned last time. Like, I have put around me people that are higher caliber people than I am, and I always have had, like, even when I was younger, I used to have older friends. Like, I was always kind of a little different in that regard, right? But it was because they had something to say, right? They had something to say that I saw value in, and so then I wanted to associate myself with that mindset, or with the way he was doing something or other. And then it built me up as a person. Like, we're a reflection, or we're a reflection of all the people that we've ever met in our life, right? Some people have greater influences in you than others. You take those greater influences and you put them in your life, and you help them build you into the best version of yourself, right? But you want that, you need those people that have something to say in your life. And you may not necessarily be like, hey, I want you to be my mentor. Like you said, it was a friend, right? And it was a friend, but you had that dynamic where you were pouring into it, or he was pouring into you, or you were pouring into him, whatever. And it was just building you guys up. You know what I mean? And so, like, I've had several mentors, right? I still have mentors, and we need that, right? Because a lot of people in the world have something to say, right? They have something to say, and if you're willing to take the time and listen to that, because people talk a lot, right? People talk a lot, but not everybody has something to say, like something real to say. And if you take the time to listen to those people that really truly have something to say, you're going to be better for it. And so just like you've done with your mentors, just like you've done with people in your life, in your past, you take from those things and they become a part of you. You learn from it, you appreciate them, and then you're able to give those things to others, right? You're just constantly improving. And so I appreciate those things. Like I like that stuff. You know what I mean? I like listening to Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, those guys that are just out there in the world, that are just 100% real, you know?
Blazing it, right?
Yeah, they're shining. They're like, they're a person that their words have actual value. Those are the words I want spoken to me.
But is it like, and that's weird, right? Is it that some people's words have value, right? And others don't? Or is it some people's words have value to certain people, right? Sure. And so this is what I mean by that, right? Like, I got people in my life that have said something to me, right, with the same words that other people have said, but it made an impact in my life. But other people said it, but it didn't make an impact.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you've had situations like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking. Like, is it that
that was a moment for you to hear it, right? Yeah. Because the other people were just talking at you or talking to you, and one person was maybe just saying it in a way that you realized he wanted for you to be benefited by it, and so then it resonated with you. Whereas before, somebody was just like, right, and so it comes back to whether it comes back to whether or not you are listening to it, or like you're open, your mind is open to that possibility of this new idea or this new thought to come into your life, and then you to start to use it for something better. Or is it something like somebody's told you 100 times, just like in jiu-jitsu, you know, like, nope, you're doing that armbar wrong, nope, you're doing that armbar wrong. But until that person has heard that, you know, 100 times, they don't get it, right? Because they don't see how it's relative to the way they're training. And so then once that becomes important to them, like, oh, okay, I keep messing this up because of this reason, and I see it now. And so now I start making in myself the adjustments that I have to be able to see the things that I need to see to bring them into my life, to help to make them make me better, right? But I have to be willing to see them, willing to take them into my life, and willing to utilize them. Because if not, then I'll just continue going through my life, not knowing how to do an armbar, right? Or not knowing how it can benefit me.
There's, I agree with both those things you said, but I also think there's something to be said about admiration for someone, you know.
Yeah, like you have to admire them.
Right. So if like, so-and-so says, like, I don't know, some regular human who does have your best interest and says, you know, if you did this, and you're like, sure, who are you, Joe Blow, whatever. But then someone comes up, a hero of yours or someone that you admire, like you guys are black belts. So the words behind the power behind your words, specifically with jiu-jitsu, are very powerful, right? So if you guys came in and said the exact same thing that I just told the group, it's going to resonate with them far more. So there's something to be said about admiration for a person.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So they come in like a mentor, like we were talking about. If the mentor says you should be doing, you should be waking up earlier, you're going to probably hear that. Unless it's, your mom's like, you should wake up earlier, and you're like, I'm sleeping in. But then your mentor says it and you're like, I'm waking up earlier. That was me.
Yep, true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny, the people we allow to influence us, and it's like, so I try to, get my daughter to do certain things, and then at a certain point, I'm just like, this guy in her ear that's just saying the same thing over and over again, and it's like she don't want to hear it, right? But then she's got this friend, it's just like, hey, maybe you should clean up your car, and then so then it was that relationship she has with that other person that's like, and so then she's more apt to doing it, you know what I mean? And so it's like she was willing to hear it from somebody else, right? And not necessarily me, and that's okay. But we all taken a bunch of information from a lot of different sources. We sift through it, we try to figure out, and then also the person influences in a way too, And so, it's interesting, It's just I appreciate.
Dude, Conan O'Brien had this amazing commencement speech one time. I don't remember who it was to. It was hilarious. But the ending of the speech, he was talking about all of his comedic influences that he looked up to back in the day, and how he wanted to be those people. And he was saying that through his failures of not becoming them, that's what made him become Conan O'Brien.
Man,
dude, it was powerful. Yeah. So that's all I gotta say about that. It's amazing.
Damn.
All those people that you want to be like, you're like, I want to be whoever, I want to be a Gracie or whatever. But the failure of Dave trying to become that person is really what makes you Dave.
Right.
I thought that was so powerful.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, and that's what we all do. That's all we can do is try to be influenced in the best way by the best people we can to make a different version. Like, you have an idea of what you want to do or become, right? But it's not always going to be what you think and what you want. But it's still like, if you're in that route, that train of thought, you might be over here, but it's still like you're still on track to becoming the best you.
Right.
And that's what we're all trying to become.
They talk about, specifically with writers and artists and musicians and things, there's a phrase, find your voice, right? Find your voice. They talk a lot about that. Whatever you're exposed to, I'll just do it because I'm a writer. Whatever you are exposed to through a screenplay or a book, and you're like, I really like that. I really like that part, or I really like how that person wrote that out. That is, they say that's like a piece of your voice. So if it's, I don't know, a big dramatic monologue, like that's something that's calling out to you for some reason, and you could apply that to your whole life. So in the instance of jiu-jitsu, if there's a person that teaches a certain way and you're like kind of very tuned into, and you're like, I really like that. That's a part of your voice. That's a part of who you are, and you should pursue that. Mimic it for a while, but then implement it into who you are, and then express it.
We're express that. Artists, that's what artists do. They just express their self through whatever form of art they've decided to bring into their lives, and martial arts is just a form of expression, baking is a form of expression, cooking, all these things are different forms of expression, and we can just take those to whatever levels we want to, or we decide we want to become disciplined in these different ways to express ourselves, you know what I mean? But it's still, you're still going to be uniquely you,
right?
You know what I mean? Right. Bruce Lee, right? Bruce Lee, awesome dude. He said, take the things that are useful, right? Take the things that are useful, and discard what is not useful, and also make things uniquely your own, right? So take the things that are useful, discard what is not to you in your perspective, from your perspective, but then also make those things uniquely you, right? And then that's how we just allow our little baby light in this world to shine a little bit, right?
I think not only expression, revelation too, specifically with jiu-jitsu. Like, it reveals things about you. Like, I think I told somebody this on the podcast, that probably the first few months of jiu-jitsu, it revealed to me that I give up pretty easily. And I think it was Casey or somebody that told, maybe it was you.
You told me last time this story.
It's like you give up too early. Like you show that you're in a panic, that this choke is very tight, and then my arm's like flailing. And then after I was like, oh yeah, I do. And then once I understood that about myself, of like, when things get tough, you kind of give in pretty quick. Then I just applied it to my whole life. I'm like, look at all this adversity that you get hit with, and you give up. Like, oh, I'm too tired today to write, or oh, it's raining outside, I'm not going to do a workout. Once that was revealed to me, I had the choice. Thank God I burned it off like dead wood. And now if you're choking me and I might be 2 seconds away from passing out, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to try not to show you. And it really helped. People will let go of chokes, and I'm like, you had me, And I actually do my writing. I actually work out, not all the time, but more than before, because the art of jiu-jitsu revealed that about myself.
Right.
Something I didn't want to be revealed.
Jiu-jitsu was speaking to you, right?
Yeah.
It was speaking to you, right? And you chose to listen. You chose to hear it and understand what it was trying to tell you, and then you try to modify yourself to become what you saw was a flaw in yourself, right? And so many other things can speak to you, and whether or not you want to take the time and listen to them, right? It's on you.
Yeah.
It's on you to take those things in and do something positive with them, or just discard them altogether, and not really, because that's all we can do. We just see the information that's coming in, and we sift through it and keep what we want, let go of what we don't, but that's on you.
Right. Thankfully, I listened, but it was something that I didn't even know was there. I didn't even consider that until I was exposed in that situation of just getting, ground down.
Right.
It's like, oh wow.
It was being 100% with you, right? Yeah. And you saw that was 100%, right? And you have to accept it. You had to accept that at that moment in your lifetime, right? You had to accept that for what it was, and then you were able to either let it help you grow, or you can just, shy away from it. That's a decision we all make.
Right. Except in the moment, I am weak, but know that you don't have to stay that way.
No.
You don't, whatever that problem is, like whatever the thing you have to accept, it doesn't have to stay that way. Like David Goggins is like, he was dumb. He's like, I couldn't read. I would read a paragraph on the test and I would forget what I read. So he's like, I read it again and I read it again. Or he have to underline every line in the book just to get through the book and read. He accepted that. He wasn't like, I'm not dumb, I'm fine. He goes, no, I'm dumb as hell. He says it, But then he did not stay that way. He figured out a way to become smart. And now he's David Goggins, one of the most accomplished SEALs of all time.
Right.
So the moment of accepting is never really that fun. But that's the first step into changing it. Yep. Changing that behavior or that mindset. Have you ever had anything like that?
Yeah. Crazy.
Good stuff. That's why I like hanging out with you two guys, because I learn so much, all the time. It's about who you put around you, right? That's what makes you, right? You're a reflection of those people you've ever crossed paths with in life, and then hopefully you take something positive from all those experiences, and you try to pour that into other people's lives, right? I know you do the same thing. You help people, and like, dude, I have got so much awesome coffee now. Like, I am taken care of by the Rendezvous coffee.
Oh yeah,
talking about set, bro. People.
Buy some more.
Oh, I thought there was some Rendezvous coffee over there. I was like,
I'm telling the audience.
Oh,
Rendezvous.
Gotcha. Man, controversial topic, right?
Oh, here
helping
we go.
People.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is when I can be controversial, right? When I'm with my brother Dave, right? Because, right, the way I think about it, right, it's either I'm right about something or I need to be corrected about it, right? Because I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit, right? But helping people, right? Some people don't want to be helped.
Yeah. Very true.
Right?
Very true.
And when you go to help them, they'll freaking pull you down. Right. Like, I I don't know. Like I could find out something about how I live my life, right? That if I tell you, right, knowing what you're going through, right, could help you live a better life, right? But in order for that to happen, right, this part of you has to...
He's got to hear you.
Yeah, he's got to hear
and then
me.
see the value in it for him to want to change.
Yep.
If not, it's not going to happen.
That's that whole don't throw your pearls to swine in Matthew, you know.
Yeah.
Like don't cast your wisdom or the help that you're trying to give someone to swine that just run over it and stomp it in the mud and
let's put it like in a bigger context, right? Like in a worldview, right? Because I'm looking at how the pandemic situation is being handled here versus in other places, right? So like in Kenya or even in China or wherever, right? Like you see like cops going around and like freaking whipping people, right? With like freaking clubs, right? Bashing their shins, right? And I came from something like that, right? I came up knowing that, that's how we live, right? But if I go back and say, hey guys, you know, you don't have to live like this, right? Some motherfuckers would, sorry.
No.
Some people will try to take you out.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's what I mean. Like,
in that case, wouldn't it be better to just behave in the way that you would like them to behave? Right?
Yeah.
Like they could maybe get on the internet and see that this is how America is handling it, or a place that's more free than that area. And they can say, whoa, we don't have to get hit in the shins. Like, we should do that, you know? Yeah. It's like actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
In a way, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people don't like to change, even if it's bad. Even if it's like, no, we like getting hit in the shins. And you're like, no, you don't.
I know.
Like, but we don't want to change. This is how it is, and it works.
It's a culture. It's a cultural thing. It's a different mentality. Right. And then so like the things that are socially acceptable in Kenya are not here, and some of the things that are socially acceptable here are not in Kenya. Right. And it's just, but that's how people were brought up.
All societies should. We should just let all societies be, right?
But what if they cross into that, you know, human rights violation type stuff? Then do you just let them do their thing?
I mean, but
that's what World War II was all about.
I mean, is that a violation of human rights?
No, well, right?
Like
it's in the face of public safety in this case. You know, that's what it's being shown as.
Man.
Like stay inside or we'll whack you in the shins.
I mean, that could that happen here?
Well,
I'm not whacking you guys in the shins.
You can see.
I'm just saying, could that happen? Right.
Well, you see it all over the world, right? We're definitely seeing it. I saw this guy run out into the street. I think it was in Italy, and the cop was out there. It was just a video on YouTube, and he came out into the street, and this was like early on, like this was like two and a half weeks in, you know, to the whole thing. And so he came out, and
keep talking, I got pissed.
The guy was like holding up his gun on him. He had that gun being held on him, and then I was waiting for it. Like I was waiting for him to just shoot this guy down, right? Shoot him down. And I'm like, oh my God, if like that happened right now, that would be something horrible, you know, because especially the tensions are high in the world, you know. He ended up downplaying another cop came from behind, took him down, you know. But you know, I noticed that, and I was like, well, how long before that starts happening here? How long before those tensions get to that place where that sort of thing is happening here too, you know? And so fortunately, like for the most part, people here are not taking it to that level. But how, you know, you put enough stress on society, how soon before it gets there, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Well, like if it gets there to where the government has to enforce it that way.
Yep. I need to use the restroom too.
I guess we all gotta use the restroom.
Just let it keep rolling. You can edit it all out.
didn't want to interrupt you on your Italian story, so I was like, I'm just gonna sneak out of here. But if I would have known that
I got through the story and it was good.
I was gonna say if I would have known all of us had to take a piss break, I could have just.
I was actually gonna mention something to you, and but I was like, well, I don't
every-
want to break up the synergy we had rolling.
Everything he'd tell a cool story, then you'd say something inspirational. I'm like, just let your bladder explode. I don't care anymore.
Man. I'm glad. Yeah, but I got through that little story, and then Eric, he'll respond. Here.
He's like, Colton just left. Yeah, dude.
Good stuff.
So,
I told you.
Yeah,
know,
it'd
be something that's.
He's got a real unique, perspective on everything.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna be good.
Yeah.
All around for us.
Yeah, I like it. His
And dude, you're looking like
analogies.
freaking.
Oh yeah. Got my new Mac.
I'm just saying, look at that thing.
Got my new Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Looks good. Looks good. I'm repping.
Yeah, you are.
We've been doing circuits, which are just like little stations. Tabata. I didn't know that was called. We'll just take all those, the maces and kettlebells, like make up little stations, and we take a speaker out there, and Kelsey and I and a friend will just do it for 30 or 40 minutes. So
nice.
Yeah.
Staying active. Yeah, man. I went out this morning. I woke up early today and I watched Creed 2. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Creed? Oh man,
that's the boxing one.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome, dude. That guy, and it's the rest of the story. Apollo. He died to Drago and Rocky 4. And so then the Creed series started coming out, and Michael B. Jordan is Adonis Creed. That's Creed's son. Right, Creed's son, and then he fought Drago's son first, right? But Rocky wasn't backing him, and so, but then he won. He beat him, beat him pretty good, and it just kind of about his struggle, and he had to dig inside himself too to try to find who he was, and then, anyways, I was all pumped up by stuff. I like stories like that of people that overcome like these crazy odds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's broken the son of the guy that killed his father, broke him, and it was like he had a choice. Of course he did it without Rocky the first time, whatever. He wasn't in his corner, but then he came back, right? Rocky was like, we can do this thing, right? And he took him out to the desert, had him train him under like the harshest conditions, and forged him in in that fire, and then he came back, overcame, right? And this other dude's like a Drago, definitely Drago's son, right? He's big, muscle-bound, tall, 6 inches taller than Adonis Creed or whatever. Anyways, had to dig deep in order to actually beat him, right? Because it was a worthy opponent, heavyweight championship of the world, right? But he did the things necessary to be able to overcome that huge challenge in his life. Anyways, I like stuff like that. It's super inspirational. I was like, my wife woke up and I had my stick, and I was like, yeah, Adonis Creed.
You have a stick?
I have a back scratcher, and I use it to manipulate my children and my wife. I got it wow. Eric has seen my back scratcher. We've had some trips where I bring this back scratcher. I was going to bring it in here today. I got it in my car. I need to get that thing.
What else do you got in that car?
That was my second home. I keep stuff in there when I was a travel guy.
Kept the Rona in there.
Kept a gi. I got a gi in there in my bag that I've had. That same gi in that bag, right? No, I've had that same gi in that bag for over a month, right? Normally I put one in, I take it out, I wash it, I put another one in, I take it out, I wash it.
Dave, that's sad.
So I know, right? Dang. I'm not trying to bring anybody down. But anyways, that's and that's a good movie. You should watch that movie.
Yeah.
Is that the new one?
Inspirational. Creed 2.
Okay.
Creed 2, yeah. Creed 2 was Creed 1 was good. Creed 2, it's even better. Anyways, inspirational. You know, I like seeing those guys that are being forced to dig deep inside
David and Goliath story is what it is.
To overcome, you know, just a good story. That's what everybody likes. That's what everybody likes in life, is to have a good story with some real content in it. And it was pretty cool because, like, you got the whole backstory to Rocky, and then there's this whole little offshoot angle of his best friend's son, you know, and how he's trying to help him and make him better, and they both became better for it, right, in the end, right? So
it's unbelievable how powerful stories are, you know, even simple stories. And what the amount of wisdom they can bestow on someone, or inspiration. It's unbelievable. That's why they're still around.
Yes.
A lot of those old stories.
Yeah, I like hearing stuff like that. I like hearing people that have, like I said, they have something to say. A friend of mine at work, it's like my best friend guy, you know, Mike Craig. I'm going to bring Mike Craig's name right here on this platform. But his father was one of the Merrill Marauders. You ever heard of the Merrill Marauders? So it was like, and I haven't looked too much. Go and look, pull up the story, pull up these stories. And so like this
bone
is
marrow?
No, Merrill, Merrell, Merrill's Marauders.
Right there.
Yeah, so these guys, they hiked in order, I think it was during World War II, and they ended up hiking, what did he say? I forget how many miles, but it ended up being, they ended up going 30 miles in one day.
Long-range penetration special operations, jungle warfare.
Yes, in Southeast Asia. Yes, and so they hiked. Let's
see if I can find it. Operation
30. It ended up becoming 30 miles a day. Like, it was legitimately 30 miles a day. This group. I think he said there were 1,000 men that went in. Only. Oh, I forget all. I didn't read all of it, but
750 miles through some of the harshest jungle terrain in the world. Fought in 5 major engagements. Jeez.
Yes. I know, that's crazy, man.
And that's that right there. Like, that's that was this guy's father, right?
Wow.
And
Craig, what was his name?
Mike Craig.
Mike Craig.
Anyways, and so like I look at him and he's a, you know, always wisecracking and like this, you know, but I can see in him that he's got that fire too, you know, because of his bloodline, you know, and we all have that in us, you know, depending on our bloodlines, you know, and
do you think
there's no such thing? There's no such thing. I think we all have it.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Sure.
No, really, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why, right? Before I became a black belt, maybe you'd tell me that we all don't have it. But I never thought I've told you this, right? Like, I never thought, when I was doing this whole thing, I didn't think one day I'd be, we're like freaking Bruce Lee type people. Look, man, like when I was growing up, right? When I was growing up,
both of you guys.
Right? When I was growing up, I watched Bruce Lee freaking kick people's asses, right? Like, he'd go in a room, right, and he could kick 20 people's asses.
Right.
You're that guy. Like, you'll go in a room with 20 people, and there's a good chance that you'll kick everybody's ass in that room, right?
With love.
With love, yeah,
I will kick
of course,
their ass
right?
with love.
Right?
Come here.
Right? No, but then, did you see that coming, like when you were growing up?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know, I guess. I've always been into martial arts, you know, and so I mean, it's been a part of my life longer than yours, I would say. So
would you say it's because you've got that Bruce Lee blood?
No.
Right,
yeah, of course. Right. We're all individuals, and we're all we can. I'm just making like a so my buddy, you know, like, but it's interesting because like you can kind of see how that forms your mentality, just knowing that, right? And so like
I got the champion's blood.
Yeah, Yeah.
Right, if you want to use that
like
for
Adonis Creed, right?
inspiration.
Like, okay, so Adonis Creed, right? He knew his father was a world heavyweight champion, a couple of different belts or whatever, and it's just a story, you know. But so he knew he came from that, and so how much did that boost who he was as a man and made him overcome like huge challenges? And so like we all have that in us.
I think if you're part of humanity right now, given like where we've come from, like a lot of us freaking died because we didn't have the champion's blood. Just the fact that you're here now means that you got something that a lot of people didn't have, right? Even just like the idea of your conception. I've heard about that before, right? Right?
No, I'm right.
Like the chances that you freaking made it, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's because you had the like.
Yes, it was.
The rest of them did too.
I was the best swimmer,
but the rest.
And I was like, man,
the guy in front,
they didn't have the champion.
The guy in front of you tripped.
1,000 other people. Like I was more committed. That's what just goes to show you that everybody has that because we all won.
You can start
ultimate initial race of life, and we superseded crazy odds, right? And now here we are, and now here.
As funny
so you're right. Everybody has that in us.
Got it.
Everybody has that in us.
but that's what I used to love about the gym, right? Is that people don't know that, but when they come in, if they stick with it, you've got a chance to show them that.
Yep.
Right. Like they can come to see
That's with a lot of pursuits. Like we see the end product. So like people come in, they're like, "Whoa, Eric's black belt, Dave's black belt." They didn't see you at white belt. They didn't see you at blue belt. They didn't see you overcome all those things. You guys are just pre-baked. You're just like black. You just came out of the womb black belts. That's what people kind of think. Right? You know, they kind of have that mentality. But if they really knew the truth, it's like, no, I took some time off because I got frustrated, or I worked on this one move and I still can't get it. Like we don't see that. We just see this belt around you and this high accomplishment. But if you know the truth, there's so much struggle behind that. There's so much dedicated time and so much sacrifice for you guys to get to that level. So that should be inspiring to us. But like you're saying, a lot of people just don't think that they can get there. Like if you told me like, oh, you're going to be
like
whatever,
everybody can. Right? And
you're going to be a black belt. You are.
You
are because you know why? Because I know that you can see it. You can see it in certain people, right?
Champion blood.
It's the champion blood. You have got the champion blood. I know it. We all do, right? We all do because we all won that.
Really, it's what
initial
champion mentality. It's the mentality, I do like the blood aspect. Like if you have a lineage of something, like all my forefathers were all military assassins. Well,
it gives you confidence. It gives you confidence.
Absolutely.
There's an aspect that gives you confidence.
Your
and
gene pool has been shaped
exactly
like the generations of.
But if all your forefathers were janitors, you could be the one like, no, I'm gonna be a badass. I'm going to be the first one.
And not only that, but it will give you the confidence to go knowing that you could be the best janitor out there because it's part of who you are, right?
Well,
and that's good. Like that's a good thing.
Well, because maybe you grew up doing it. Yeah. But if you're like if they gave you up when you were a kid,
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. But would you have that blood? Like you'd be the best janitor out there.
Well, how clean's your car? How clean's your car? Like if you have a really clean car, it's like, yeah, you got that janitor blood, bro.
Oh, really? We're going back to my car, huh? Right?
It's just easy. It's just right there, dude.
I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate being 100% real with somebody.
That's why I said, don't look at that garage, dude. You can light me up.
Dude, like it's all fun and games, until your own car comes out.
Yeah.
After this podcast, we're all going to go look at each other's car.
That's what I'm like.
I think and I'm only a blue belt or whatever, but I think it comes down to mindset more than blood. Like,
I think so.
The blood can give you an advantage
in
some aspects, but it's really mindset.
Sure.
Because maybe the blood person doesn't show up to class.
Dude, but think about it.
The mindset
way,
person
right?
does.
If you have, like your kid, right? They're just unmotivated. Right? I mean, sometimes, maybe telling them they've got the blood is going to motivate them.
Sure, if that works.
But it's not their blood that you got to change. It's their mindset.
Exactly.
Right. No, I agree 100%.
Anyway,
for sure. No, for sure. I get you. I get it.
I know you get it.
But the thing about, it's just This is one of those things that my friend has.
Oh, absolutely.
In his past, and I like to see that. Like I see
Me,
that.
yeah.
I don't have that story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So-
I don't have that story.
So here's
Right.
the fact.
And if I did, that would be way cool.
Right. He can tap into it.
He's just like when he told me before, and like here last week I think it was, he mentioned it again. He's like telling me like specifics, like 30 miles a day, and I'm just like, wow, that's
Who's
an
that?
amazing thing. Mike Craig and his father. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and the whole story, like it's a good story.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate it because like what did those guys have to go through? Like what, you know what I mean? And then they overcame that. And this guy is a descendant of that, and so it's like it just ties you to certain things, and it's just cool to see and to reflect on and to talk about, you know. And like when he told me the first time, I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah. But then he told me again, this was like, wow, you know, what an amazing thing that you know company did to help, you know, prevent those Japanese from whatever, you know, and then they overcame those obstacles to win, and so that's part of him, and so that's part of who he is, you know, as well, in by extension.
But also, you're taking inspiration from it,
right?
You know? So like, while you're working out and you're tired, you're like, dude, those guys went 30 miles and I can finish this workout, or whatever. And then you have no connection to it besides the story.
There's always somebody. Always somebody in history that's overcome more and has been through more than anything. Like Hercules. You know, think about the chain gangs in Egypt, right? Those guys that were building the pyramids. Like how hard would their life would have been?
The whole
to have
thing.
a dictator and they just run you into the ground. You're
stone block worker number 5,201.
All right.
But then they came together and they did this thing, so that's something we can pull inspiration from, you know, motivate you a little bit, whatever, help make you better.
There's like inspirations, right?
Yeah.
Like open your mind, right? It's like you can get inspired anywhere. Like there's examples like that everywhere, right? Like I told you guys I went to work this morning, right? Like some of the people I work with, right? Like a guy this morning was telling me he's working overtime today, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be 70 next month. Oh, really? Right? And the guy works a manufacturing job, right? It's a manufacturing job. It's not an easy job, right? Like I see that and I'm like, I can't be complaining, you know, or, you know, I'm freaking 39.
Right.
Right. I can do a lot more.
Right.
I got a lot more in me. That's inspiration right there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. But you chose to see it.
Yeah.
You chose to.
Yeah, you just gotta. Yeah, you gotta. But yeah, you're doing the same thing. You're like seeing it. You're acknowledging that. Man, that's some stuff right there.
I think it's interesting that you didn't notice it at first.
Right, because we all have that. Yeah, no, we all
have
that.
You have to learn how to see inspiration. The guy says, I'm 70 and I'm working this job. You could just, you might not put that together, but since you can notice
I've worked with that guy for almost 4 years now.
Right.
And like it resonated more today. Not like it never resonated, but today it's like, again, like for reals. Like, I can be better. Right.
Sometimes it takes a little bit to recognize those things, you know. And you guys being black belts and continually seeing people come in and train at all these different levels, and come in for a while and leave or stay with it the whole time. Like you guys get to benefit from observing their trials and triumphs as well as your own.
Man, I got this crazy story about. I've told Dave this. I'm sharing it with you and whoever, but anyway, my black belt, Nick, does things a little bit different. Well, he did with me and the other black belts he's got than some other professors, right? Mm-hmm. He told me, hey, I want to give you your black belt on, boom, such a date, right? Some people might get excited about it, right? I was like, man, I haven't done everything I can do, right? But, so I kind of begged with him and I pleaded with him, and he extended. I got him to extend the time, right? And he gave me a black belt a year later. But man, that kind of taught me, right? Same thing that this guy taught me, but in different ways. Like, you got to kind of get off your ass, right? It's on you to get off your ass, right? Because you can always do so much better than you can.
Right.
There's always a timer on your ass. But Nick just verbally told me, hey,
right,
you got a timer.
That's interesting.
You got to do what you got to do, right? But in reality, like jiu-jitsu, it translates to life a lot, right? We've all got a timer. You got a timer on your ass. It's only that you don't see it. Right? So you got to get off your ass.
That's really interesting, though.
And
like, what if someone came to you and told you that? Like, hey, in 3 years, I'm going to give you your black belt. Like, how would that change your mentality if you knew it was coming?
Yeah, how would you? Like, it's too late for me.
Right. But it's interesting that how it changed you, because it really happened to you, you know?
Yeah.
Well, whoa, I'm not.
Right? You had a baseline, right? You're like, okay, this in my mind is what I think a black belt is, right? You got this baseline, okay? And then somebody now telling you, now somebody gave you a timeline, right? I never had a timeline. I was fortunate, but now you're like, oh man, like, I got so much work to do because like I only have this much time, and this is what I think I need to be, right?
No,
and so then,
dude, and then it's like, I gotta be, because Nick is the black belt. He's my standard, right? He's my standard of a black belt. Like, I gotta be, by the time I'm becoming a black, and that's how I used to think about it, right? By the time I'm becoming a black belt, I want to be able to hang with Nick, because. Right. And then he's telling me, hey, you got 3 months or whatever it was, and you got to be able to hang with me. Right?
Some people, but the thing is you're just a different person, right? And that you were in line with the standards that you should have to be a black belt, but you weren't in line with the standards you thought you should have, right? And so then that created that little problem for you. Like you were talking about when you got your blue belt, you're like, oh, that was the worst day ever, because you thought, he thought he should have been something more, right? But sometimes we need that in life. We need for somebody to set that baseline for you, or for you to set it for yourself, so that way you know what you need to strive to do. Like, you have this thing in your horizon, and you need to adjust your sights to it to achieve it. And it doesn't matter, like, somebody's presenting this obstacle to you, you're just trying to navigate to try to make your way to it in the best way that you know how and you think you should do it. But it was good, because like I do that same thing too. Like, some people hold it back for a long period of time until you're just definitely really good, But I've also noticed that having that in front of your face, or being presented to you earlier than you personally think, it's a motivator. So it's like, okay, now I got to step up my game too, and I got to try to be what somebody else has faith in me that I am. And so then you look in yourself, and then you're like trying to align yourself with that, and you're only going to do it the best way you can do it, right? Because you're you, and you're you, but it's going to make you better for it. Like, all of it is making us better for it.
Because you're so used to, I was having fun too, right? I was just getting used to my brown belt. Like, life was good, right? And then he comes at me and he's like, hey, boom.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But it made me have, because it's like the thing I'm talking about, like, one part of you has to die.
Right.
It was like I knew that my brown belt days were coming to an end, right? And I had to get out there and do, and I had a lot of fun, right? Like I got out there more than I ever did, right?
It motivated you in a lot of ways, right?
No, it didn't even motivate me, right? It did. It motivated me to live more, right? And man, I took that one concept, right? And I think man, it's just jiu-jitsu, right? It always like resonates in your life. But I took that one concept and I'm like, the task is not to become a black belt at jiu-jitsu, right? You got to become a black belt in your life.
At life.
Right? And I think that's what I was scared of, right? Because, man, like somebody's telling me like I am the epitome of, it's not that like I'm the epitome, but I'm like one of the 1%, right? Like how many?
You're a standard. You're having to
like I am
you're having to wrap your mind around the idea that you are now a standard that other people are looking at, and you have to uphold that, right? And so it's a responsibility. A lot of things go through your mind as far as,
it was like, what standard do I want to be, right? But then at the end of the day, right? Like it's not about where you are now, right? It's always about, you always got to change it. Like you can't stop.
Yep. We reinvent ourselves all the time, and like I mentioned this a little bit in our last podcast, is you always have to look at yourself like your potter's clay, right? Your potter's clay, and you can and when it's wet and it's in that form, it can be molded into anything you want it to be, but you can also make a mistake and boop, and then mess it up, and then you just come back and you can reform your pot, and if it messes up, boom, you can and so that's the kind of mindset we should have. We can always reinvent ourselves. We can always make ourselves better in any aspect of life, right? Yeah. And that comes from that principle, that little simple jiu-jitsu principle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good observation.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
A part of the blue belt thing to me was, I kind of took it in the sense of, well, I guess my idea of what a blue belt is not right, because you know more than me and you gave me my blue belt. So if I respect you and look up to you as a coach, then I should adjust my thinking of what a blue belt is to what you're saying. So that took me a little bit to address, because I felt the same way. Like, I'm not a blue belt, I'm a white belt. I don't know any of this stuff. I do not feel like a blue belt. I don't feel like I deserve this. But if you're telling me that I deserve this, then I look up to you.
Well, and you can see it too. Like you can see it too through your works, right? Somebody coming in fresh off the street, well, I got $20 bills, say that Colton's gonna put in some work on this dude. You know what I mean? And so it's just and so it's you've done some things to achieve. And so, but it goes back to, you had this standard that was
wrong.
But it's a good thing. It's a motivator. It's like a motivator. You're looking at it and you're like, I gotta step up my game, right? To try to be what somebody else thinks I am, and it comes back in anything in life.
Here's another thing, right? Like relating to that, right? And maybe about the COVID thing, something that I heard, right? What if we always lived at this urgency, like at this level of urgency? Maybe not urgency, but efficiency, or whatever you want to call it, right? Level of performance, right? Like people are having to adapt, right, and change, right, and having to be in that survival mode, right, live on the edge, right, really push your limits. Some of us, anyway, right. Man, I love living there, right? But what if you always did that?
Here's another angle, right? You specifically deal with stresses differently than a lot of people, because you're a different individual, and so you can live there, you can be comfortable right there on the edge. I'm pretty good with that, like, but I know I worry about certain things more than you do.
Yeah.
You just have a different personality. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, it's just all, you know, personal perspective on anything we do.
I mean, like, we lived so long for not worrying about most things. Like, we lived very soft, all of us. And then COVID came in and it was like, nope. And thankfully, it's not as bad as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a bird flu, which is way worse.
But I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, what if we just weren't tried not to be soft?
Right.
So soft all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so okay, an analogy, right? You take coal. It looks just like a lump of coal, you know, but all of a sudden you put that thing, you know, 3 miles down, and you got a mountain of pressure on top of it. You get a diamond, right? And so we can use that, right? We can use that in our life as a positive thing, and think that, okay, all the pressures that happen to us in our life, it's a useful thing. It's a useful tool, and we want them to be there. We want those things to be there because we know that if we endure enough pressure, then you can have something long lasting. You know, a diamond. You know, and just like the Merrill Marauders. You know what I mean? Like, they endured through, you know, conditions, and then they came out shining like a diamond on the other side, or the ones that made it through did, you know, because
that's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? People don't make it through.
Right.
Right. So, I don't know. Do you? Yeah, I've seen, like, in your house, you've got some, like, quotes that you put up.
Right.
Right. So I've got one right now. Mine always change.
Sure.
Right. So I've got one right now that's like I'm trying to connect my limits, right? Like, I'm trying to push myself always to my limits, right? And I know I'm living there. But you also got to realize where your limits are, that's where your perfection is too, right? You're becoming almost to your perfection, right? But where your limits are, that's also like where that edge is, where you can fall off.
Yeah.
Right? But in order to be like the marauders.
Marauders.
Yeah, marauders. Yeah.
Marauders.
In order for you to do that, you got to live at that edge.
You have to put yourself through that.
And not everybody makes it.
Those guys didn't go in. I mean, they knew the task at hand, I'm sure.
Not everybody makes it.
Yeah.
Or wants to. Like, in this room, I'm sitting with two people that think very differently. You're both black belts. That's a sheer accomplishment.
That's crazy.
So
I don't think that me and Dave think very differently. Sometimes I think like we think more. Anyway.
But compared to other people,
yeah,
like, you guys chose to go through this whole, you know, decade-long or more journey to pursue this art, and you've come out on top and still learning and teaching and whatnot. The general public, I guess we'll call them the sheep, don't think that way. You know what I mean? A lot of people, most people don't think that way because most people aren't black belts, and most people aren't the marauders, or most people aren't, you know, high achieving people. It's a very select few. So yes, living this way is like beneficial for people like us who are trying to achieve or pushing themselves. But like, what about the people that don't? It's almost too much for them.
Yeah.
It's almost like they need a sheepdog. They need someone to kind of say, hey, you could become a sheepdog. You don't have to remain a sheep.
Man.
You have to inspire them, imbue them with inspiration and motivation, you know. Like hanging quotes in your house. That's one easy way. You just randomly see it as you walk around.
I like the one you have.
Fall forward.
Fall forward.
Yeah.
I saw that. When I saw that, I was like, that's good. You know what I mean? Because we all fall down. We all fall down and we all stumble in life. But if you can do that falling forward towards your goals, then hey, that is
Denzel Washington
something.
said that, dude.
Did he?
Fall
Nice.
forward. And then Jordan Peterson's got one, stumble forward. It's like stumble forward.
Yeah.
Pick a goal or whatever, an aim. And like you said earlier, it's not just a straight shot. You're not
That's
just
right.
like, boom. You stumble forward. And then every once in a while you say, I don't mean to be going this way. I need to go this way. I'm almost there. And you just keep getting it until you
get
there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get it till you get
Stumble
it.
forward.
I like it.
Doesn't have to be pretty, you know.
It just has to be 100% real.
Exactly.
And then something you see value in, and then
Yes.
you can start putting that in your life and
Yes.
striving for those things that you find are valuable.
Right.
You know, I want to fall forward all the time.
Right.
Right. And I'm going to fall on my face a lot more in my life. Right. But I need it.
Yep.
You need it. We all need that. Right. In order for us to wake up sometimes, you know, wake up. Like this is just, you know, something kind of on the same subject, but like I had a problem when my daughter was younger, waking her up, you know. So it
common
it's
problem.
Still like oh, that girl, you know, sometimes. But it's just funny but when Dad would have to stay home and he was responsible for getting her out of bed, and I took a different approach than Mom, right?
Approach did you take?
Okay, I'll just tell you, right? I'll just tell you. It's funny because I reflect on this sometimes. I'm like, hey, Cindy, wake up. Cindy, wake up. Okay, 3 or 4 times. Like, all right, I got to take a different approach. You know what I mean? I got to take a different approach. So I went in there, took the covers off of her feet, grabbed her heels, pulled her heels off the bed, right? And then I let them go. And then so now she's got to like catch herself, right? So she's waking up, having to try to catch herself from falling, right? But what did it do?
Woke her up.
It forced her to have to stay standing. If not, she was going to fall on her face.
Yeah.
Right? And so those are the things we all do. Yeah. We all have to put ourselves in those somewhat strenuous situations sometimes, so we can catch our footing, so we can understand the things that are important, the things that we need in life in order to stay upright.
I agree, but I also think all she had to do was get up the first time you said it. You know, like it didn't have to get to that point.
Right.
She's like, Dad says get up. All she had to do was roll out of bed, but she allowed it to get to the point of like, okay, fine. Wham, out of the bed. She gets like, whoa.
But I did it in a very nice way. But it was funny because like the way I pulled the hips off, and I was like, whoa, you got like,
right. That goes back to burning the dead wood. If you choose to let it burn, it's a lot better. It's still gonna hurt. It still sucks getting up. But she could have chose to just stand up like, I'm up, Dad. Or you can wait till the end, where
life becomes a little more difficult, right?
Exactly,
but
and you're forced.
Hey, sometimes you need that, right? She needed that pressure in order for her to stand up.
Right.
Different cultures, right? So
you don't pull your daughter out of bed?
No, but see, like that's in my house. Like that's not a thing. Like it's okay. Like it's happened many times, right? And mine like goes with the phrase that came from high school: "Jump out the bed," right? Like jump out of bed. So like I'll yank the covers back and I'll drag.
You're just trying to make them fall on the floor?
Yeah.
Pulling them?
No, I'm trying to get them up.
I get that, but are you like making them fall onto the floor?
Yeah.
Damn,
you're not alone. My mom would take a spray bottle, like water, and like soak my face. I'm like, oh, gosh. You know, so I mean, it's a common.
But like if you do it out of love,
it's what they need, right? It's what they needed, and that's what sometimes
so
we
like
need.
Nowadays, right? Like that was when she was young, but nowadays, she's 13 now. Nowadays, like I'll just knock by her door. I'll be like, "Hey, Kiara, wake up." And she'll hear me. She'll wake up. Like, okay, Dad. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so many kids in general, you know, and people and adults too. They confuse discipline with punishment, and really, discipline is teaching a person the path that will best help them throughout life.
Yeah.
Because if you like, for instance, this example, like if these kids just keep sleeping, they'll never understand the discipline or the benefit of waking up early, and the benefit of being disciplined to say, this is when I'm going to wake up, and this is I'm going to get the day started in this way. And just like jiu-jitsu, that would resonate throughout their whole life, you know. And it's just such a simple lesson to be taught. But so many times you're like, Dad, why do you hate me? I want to sleep. And it's like
it's their perspective of the situation. You know what I mean? Because we all have our own perspective, and so and I have to reflect and think about that sometimes too, because really, to her, I am just sometimes this guy that's just always nagging about certain things. You know what I mean? But it's just you say them to somebody else because you want them to be better.
Right.
But your relationship with them, it just like it turns it into something different. You know, and but it's different for everyone. You know.
Well, back in the day, it was to keep you alive. It was like, do not go over to this area because the bear will rip your head off. You know, they're like, really, Dad, really? That kid didn't make it, you know, because he was undisciplined. Yeah. Now it's a little bit more lenient, but, you know, to wake up early is a mark of success. Most successful people wake up early. So you're trying to teach these kids to be successful in this day and age, to survive in this day and age. There are bears out there. They're just not giant claws and teeth, but they're there.
Absolutely.
Metaphorical bears.
Dude, have you heard about the president like only sleeping like 4 hours a day?
Right. You can see it in the before and after pictures.
No, but like, is it like whenever you hear that, are you like, man, that's good, or man, that's bad?
I think it's bad. Like Elon Musk, they say Elon Musk sleeps like 3 or 4 hours.
There's both. Like, so just like anything, there's good and bad in all of it, right? So, and
it's not sustainable.
I get your point. Like, and he's, you know, he's got more on his plate than anybody right now, whatever, you know. And so that's what the things that he needs to do. Is it the healthiest thing to do? No. Is it sustainable for him? Maybe, you know. But you know, science says you should have 8 hours of sleep if you're a kid, 6 if you're an adult. And so, like, if you start taking away from that, you know, then I don't know, what are you doing? There's negative effects. There could be negative effects, or maybe he's just, you know, to where he can sustain that and still be perfectly healthy. I don't know.
Oh, there's definitely a cost.
There's a cost to everything.
Oh, absolutely.
There's everything.
I've never
has
tried
a cost. I try not
staying
to.
up 4 hours
I've never tried to like go on a regimen where I sleep like 4 hours.
You sleep normal, like 6-7 hours?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But I've never tried that. You know,
I've had seasons where I do it. You know, like when I was in California and we were working on film sets. It was like a couple of weeks at a time. You know, you're just back and forth. You're back and forth 4 or 5 hours a night at the most. You know, and you supplement. I had coffee. You know, I had cigarettes every once, something to keep me going. You know, but it was not sustainable.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Like, okay, you know, right now, doctors and nurses, like, they're having to completely switch it. And not only that, but like even before, like you would hear doctors, it would be, you know, they can be at a hospital for 24, 36 hours straight, right? Doing their job, and they're having to stay sharp because a lot of people's lives are dependent on it, you know. And so I always think, like, man, how can you do that? Like, how can you do that? And it's possible. You know, Navy SEALs, those guys do it, and they operate, and they're able to.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. So, I guess it's not sustainable.
You could probably do it for a length, you know. Right. If you're a SEAL, you go on a mission.
When you have to do it, you have to do it, right?
No, but I mean, is it a skill that you can acquire?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, like, is it a skill that you can acquire and maybe teach your body to?
Oh yeah. I think so. The human body's so adaptable. So if you were, let's say you don't think so?
No, so I'm saying, like, why not do it?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Because it's hard, bro. It's hard. Because sleeping is
it's
nice.
It's something that takes.
Nice.
Really.
Yeah.
Some of us. That's why science says, right. That's why the doctors say it's not good for your health, right. There's some of us. That's my belief anymore, right? That's what I believe anymore, right?
They say, but they also say if you
we're all endowed with different gifts, right? We've all got different gifts, physical. Like Usain Bolt and me, right? We've got different gifts, right? And I could maybe teach my body to perform at Usain Bolt's level. But maybe it's going to kill me in the process.
Well, do you want to?
I don't know. Why not? I think it would be awesome, man. Like, that's how my mind works. I'm like, you know, it wouldn't be too bad. No, really.
That's Usain Bolt, bro.
That's what I think. It wouldn't be too bad to perform like Usain.
I don't think I could do it, bro.
Right.
I got a lot.
What about meow, right? Would you want to perform like Gordon Ryan?
Sure,
right.
but what are the costs? At what cost? What are the things that you're willing to sacrifice to become that? You know, like those, like I mentioned those guys in our last podcast, and you know, they got that disposition to where that's all they want to do, and that's exactly what they do, right? That's all they do. But you know, they're pushing 30, they're pushing 30. Yeah, they're pushing their limits, and it's just sustainable for so long, but eventually their body's going to start breaking down to it. Now, their body, I also believe, has adapted to it, right? Has become stronger for it, but at the same time, you know, they're creating harsh environment for their bodies, you know, for their body, like, because we wrestlers, you know, when they develop the mentality of a wrestler, because they have like one of the strongest mental fortitude of any sport that I know, that I can see. But they have no quit, like they have no quit in their heart, right? And so they're constantly they have the mentality where they're just pushing forward, right? They're not stopping. And so same thing with anything else, like that's where you want to take it. But what's the cost? Like, just like the Meow brothers, they are there, the wrestlers, they call it getting hard, right? So we go in there, you're kind of soft, you're not used to the bumps and the bruises and the pain and everything that you go through. But once you are in that environment for a certain amount of time, it's just second nature. And so like somebody else coming in fresh is a little bit more sensitive to the environment, but these guys put themselves in that environment every day, and so it hardens their body. Like, I'm sure if you do a certain move, boom, certain way, and you just, you know, you strengthen the bone, right? It makes your bone, like they say, if you break a bone and it heals, the part that it healed, it's stronger than what it was before. And so, like, if you're constantly, you know, beating your wrist with, say, a wooden staff, right? Boom, 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 boom. You're beating it. Your arm will become stronger for it. Like, there's monks
at the cost of pain,
right? Monks, they start out thrusting their hands into sand, right? Boom, because they're making their hands weapons, right? And they're hardening their hands to be able to, like, jam them in your eye or whatever. But no, serious,
jam them in your
whatever,
eye.
Right? I'm just saying, like, this is something that they do. They get a bucket of sand, boom.
Do they really?
Hours, yeah. They'll just drive their hands in it. Eventually, that bucket of sand becomes a bucket of river rock. Now, imagine you right
Seriously?
now. Yes. Well, just like with anything, you can take it to any extent, right?
Yeah. Dave's got the inside track on this stuff.
No, but it is a real thing as part of some of these guys' training regimens.
Cool. I would never
in these different martial arts. Yeah. But those are the lengths that some people do. So just imagine if you and I right now tried to get a bucket of river rock, and then we're just gonna jam our hands into it, right? We're gonna end up exactly. But if you start out gradually and you start out with sand and you're dedicated and you commit the time and you put in the work, eventually you can make that sand into a river rock and sustain it, and then it's sustainable, right? So just like with anything else, a wrestler goes in there, puts himself in that environment. A jiu-jitsu person goes in there, puts himself in that environment, hardens him up, and then he's able to sustain. So even with sleeping, right? If you want to do that, and if that was the thing that you want to become good at, and you feel like you had the skill set to do it, I'm sure you can become sleep deprived for so long, and then eventually your body will adapt to it, and then you'll sustain it, right? If that's what you want, if that's your goal, for sure.
I kind of see what you're saying. Like, if you can, why not? Like, you could take it to that level, and then what you're saying as far as building from sand to river rock, that's what you were talking about earlier with limits. Like, you go to the limit, which would be after a while of sand, your limit is river stone. You wouldn't start with the stones and mangle your fingers if that was your goal.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't go roll with a bunch of black belts if it's your first day, because you'll feel terrible. So you have to find the limit, be brave enough to go to the limit, and then exist there. Jordan Peterson calls it order and chaos. You have 1 foot in chaos, which is things that you don't know, things you can't control. And you have 1 foot in order, which is kind of the things you do know, the things you can control, and you exist in the middle. Because if you're too much in chaos, you can't. If I were to go in with a bunch of black belts, I wouldn't learn anything, because you guys are just throwing stuff everywhere, and I'm like, what was that? I'd be dead. But if I just step back with the kids class, I'll never progress. I'll just choke everybody. I'll just smash them with my 250 pounds
with your guns.
Yeah. So you got to find that median where, where you are being shown things that are beyond you, but not so far beyond that you can't implement them into who you are.
Live it on that. That's why that's why you like to live right there on the edge, and it's a good thing, but it can also be, a dangerous thing depending on the person, right? So like, I don't know, they say that being really, really smart, right? Einstein, at a certain point, they said he kind of went crazy, like toward his later years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so he was constantly like treading that line, but at what point do you go over, and the next thing you know, like, he's having to deal with this whole other thing, but just because he was like one of the most genius people on the planet.
Man, that's crazy. So when I was going to college, right, when I was finishing my bachelor's degree, this guy asked me, so what are you going to do after? I'm going to do my master's degree, right? And then what about after that? I'm going to do this and that. And he's like, well, when's enough going to be enough? Right? And I've always struggled with that freaking question. He planted that idea in my head that at some point enough is enough. Right? I guess that's what you're saying, is that there comes a point where you're done, or do you always keep chasing that edge? Right? Because at some point you're going to reach your limit, right? Or maybe you'll calcify yourself as you go up, right? But, you got to shift your mindset and be like, okay, I have a limit or I don't. Right. And that's a freaking dangerous thing, right? If you start believing that you don't have limits. I'm just saying. No, it's true. I'm just saying. I can think of some limits that will always be limits. Yeah. Like, I ain't going to fly. I'm not going to get on the roof, and I don't have any limit. That's an extreme case, but. Man, but before you saw parkour, like, I never thought that shit was possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. Like, seeing parkour, I was like,
they're amazing. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Those guys, what they can do.
And some of those guys, like,
it's an art. Yeah. It's a form of expression, and they're taking it to the limits. They're taking themselves and their abilities. My son is into one of those YouTube dudes that does amazing flips.
So what do you know, like, what people are going to come up with next?
Yeah.
Man, like, I saw that guy climbing the rocks. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah, Free Solo.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
Talk about inspiration.
No joke.
Really?
Dude, I'm telling you, like,
he's
free
taking
climber.
It to the limits.
He is
I always
dude.
Man,
his friends are all
climbers.
died.
Free climbers are that's a crazy concept.
Dude, that whole
right. We think it's crazy. I wouldn't want to have a rope. I mean, I would want to have a rope, right? Yeah. I mean, legitimately, no doubt, especially like some of the terrain those guys are climbing on, But to them, it's just, So they have faith in themselves. They have faith in themselves.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing. And they started with ropes.
Right.
They didn't just start climbing without ropes. They worked themselves up to that level. They started with a small cliff, then a little bit bigger cliff. Then they're like, forget these ropes. So they
and then ultimately he started to truly believe in himself to where it was like no big deal for him to scale that wall and without any rope. Right. Yeah. That's how. And you're right. If we cultivated that into ourselves more, then, man, we'd be a lot better off.
You just got to be okay with the fact that you might die in the process.
Yeah, with that one,
you gotta
for sure.
be okay
That's
with
it, isn't
right?
it? That's it.
Yeah, you
You gotta
like,
be willing.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Whoa.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you were meant to make it, maybe not, right? But are you just gonna be this guy, right?
That's crazy.
No, I'm just saying.
No, it's like
right?
like it's amazing. Like the thought in my mind is it's amazing. It's so simple. Like you have to be willing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
Bro.
amazing. So simple, but
Yeah.
profound.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
But yeah, but you got to try to. I keep trying to fix that.
Do you think it's
Try to
ever
resolve
okay
that.
to be content?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think so.
Yeah.
And then sometimes whenever I think, hey, it's all right, you know, you've done enough, then I got this part in me that kicks in and is like, hey.
Is it enough?
I mean, look around you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you really done enough?
Right.
Yeah. We all have more in us, and then we know we have limitations.
Yeah, and then I
But that's the thing. Like that's the thing, right? You know you have limitations, but yet you know you want to excel in different areas in your life. So then, what are you forced to do? You're forced to be creative, right? And to try to accomplish with anything.
Man, and then you'll always just be like living simple, right?
Mm.
And then you go to work in the morning and you see this 70-year-old guy hustling, right?
Right.
What do? Do you go back and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna, it's all right, I've done enough?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
You gotta hustle. Gotta hustle.
It's like the one limitation that we all are under is time.
Yep.
We all have 24 hours a day. So I think I told
What
you.
is time though? What is time? It's a man-made fabrication.
Ooh, I want to hear this one.
It's a measurement,
It is a measurement,
right?
Yeah.
It's a measurement of
Do we need it though?
change
Do you
over
need
distance.
Do you need it?
Do I need time?
Do we need it?
Yes, absolutely. What if you couldn't tell the difference
it
between a second and a
exists.
million years? That would be
It exists, but do
Yeah.
we need it? It's society tells us that we have to run on a timeline. We all try to, do what we're supposed to do here to do the daily.
I see what you're saying.
But
I see what you're saying.
do we, are we supposed to be
Well, it's
living with
helpful.
the
It's definitely-
constraints? It does be
it's helpful.
constraint. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's that, like you should for a timeline, like you should have kids by this time. It's not like society forcing you to do that. It's just saying that's a pretty good window to have kids. If you get outside that window, it gets tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think we freak ourselves out because we're like, oh, I'm 35 and I'm not married or whatever it is because of this timeline from society that's been implemented into your head. Or
No, but I think
I'm not a
it's,
black belt. It's been 15 years.
I think it's the timeline that works for most of us.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Man, that's why at some point I was like, I'm pretty different. And it's okay.
Right.
We all are. We're
It's
all
okay.
different, but we're the same.
Right.
Mhm.
If I can be a black belt, like anybody can freaking do anything.
Yeah.
It's all right. You just got to put your mind to it.
Right.
Or you just got to stay on the grind. Oh, that's what worked for me anyway.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think it's unbelievable how many people say that though. Like for instance, the black belt, like a Danaher person, which Danaher I think is a jiu-jitsu legend, mythological figure.
Sure.
But even he says, if I can do it, you can do it. And it's like, what? Are you sure?
I know,
Are we talking about the same thing?
Dude, I used to hear the same thing.
But now
right?
you're saying it.
Yeah.
And you're actually there. Like you're there.
Yeah, I used to hear that. Yeah. It's.
But it's all about perspective, and so you can tell that to 100 people on anything, and they'll take it 100 different ways. But some of them will take a hold of it and try to do that. A lot of them won't, but that's okay. That's okay.
It seems like the most efficient choice. If you tell me, Colton, if you keep going to class, you'll become a black belt. I could deny it and say I doubt it, but what good does that do me? Or I could be like, sweet, I have a path and I can follow it. Like it seems like the most beneficial choice to make to me, whatever you're pursuing.
Right.
You guys need more coffee, don't you?
Yeah,
I don't know. I got mine. I'm good.
Dude, you got some coffee on you.
Look at that giant cup of his.
Oh.
There's something else in there too. It's kind of.
I'm into efficiency, and this right here allows my coffee to stay warm for a longer period of time, and plus it gives me a lot of it. So I just fill this dude up, and then I can go. I'm still enjoying coffee.
How is your seatbelt habit going?
Man, I was actually thinking about that on my way here.
Yeah.
Stopped by to get a sandwich. Again, went in the store, come out, and then. I did it right when I got in my car.
Did it right?
No. I did it the first time, like when I got into my car. But then when I got out of the store, got back into my car again, then it was this.
Oh yeah.
Force of
You'll
habit.
get it, bro.
Force of habit, strong, runs strong in us, and but that's why we gotta train our minds. We gotta, see what we want to become, and then strive to do the things we have to do to become that.
Yep.
That's all we can do.
Einstein said that the imagination is the what is it? The imagination is the I'm screwing it up. The something to come. I need more coffee. I can't remember. Einstein, the imagination is what is to come. The preview, that's what it is. The imagination is the preview to what is to come.
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting.
Right. That's right, because if Eric Onyango didn't believe he could become a black belt in himself, right? If he didn't imagine himself at that point one day in his life, it probably would have never happened. Yeah, the imagination, your mind, it's a powerful thing, right? It's a powerful thing. And if you're trying to channel that into, in the best that you can be, then you're doing something. And then you can take all those experiences and help others out.
How much do you guys use visualization techniques, like picturing yourself as a black belt or being in shape or anything like that? Do you guys ever do that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Like to some degree,
dangerously.
Yeah.
No, really. Yeah.
How so?
Like anything. I try to do it with anything anymore.
Right.
Yeah, like even coming here, I got to visualize, okay, how do I want this thing to go?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to be nervous, right?
Okay.
I want to have fun. It's pretty stressful out there.
Yeah.
By the time I'm done with this, I want to have a good experience.
Right.
So I had to visualize that, and it's freaking manifesting.
Good.
Man, it's a good time, huh?
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so not to change subject, but I need an idea for a name of my cycle trip. Right? We're going to make this awesome cycle trip for the gym. Hopefully you can come, and awesome. Hopefully you can come, and we can bring our bikes, and we can go down a rugged path together, right? And hopefully live past this, right? Past this bike trip. But yeah.
Is it for the gym, the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, we were thinking May 2nd. So open up your weekend, grab a bike, let's take a trip. Let's social distance, but let's build and pour into each other and be positive about the things that we can do.
So if you don't have a bike, I know that there's shops
we can rent one, I think.
Yeah, and I think down there too it's like a big community where they do that. So
we do a lot of videos for a guy named Rich Drew. He's a professional mountain biker. And then the Walton brothers dumped in $100 million to build these bike trails
over here
in Northwest Arkansas. The Walmart boys, because they're huge cyclists. And then when that went really well, they're like, let's do another $100 million. So they're working on new trails right now. They're developing a tree, an artificial tree that at the very top is a bar where you can get craft beers, but you have to ride to it. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We did a big video out there for it was a race. What was that race called? I can't remember. All these people came from all over the United States, and everybody that I talked to that's living in Northwest Arkansas is a transplant from somewhere else. Like there were people from Oregon, there was people from Seattle, there was people from California. Yeah, they're all there for mountain biking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Your student Zach does that too. He goes out there to. He didn't take you. He took you one time. Yeah, and it's a pretty awesome thing we have in our backyard, you know. And
it's so close.
Yeah, and you know, just talking to Jeff. You know, Jeff Day he came into the gym. He took time out of his day to just come in and chat with me, you know. And then Noé, like I said, he's a newer. But he had just recently bought a bike, and Jeff's a longtime cyclist, and I got mine, and I was like, we can do this thing. Like, that's cool. And we can, you know, keep, you know, each other's safety, you know, concerns, you know, like trying to do this in the best way we can, and the responsibly, you know. But it's still something we can do. And we can still keep the connection strong, and we can still help each other. So we were thinking May 2nd, and so I'm gonna make a flyer, put it out there, get as many people as we can get. May 2nd, and I got the name of the course from Jeff and
Slaughter Pen.
Could be. He gave me two different options, and so I was going to look at them both and see which one's maybe the lesser difficult of the two.
Eric wants the extreme. He wants the cliffs.
But I want
100-foot jumps.
I want to try to make it a thing we can get, 20 people. My initial thought, like I'd been thinking about doing this for a while, but my initial thought was like, you know, everybody bring a sandwich, you know, or whatever, and then we'll get up early and we'll hit the trails, you know, as a group, and then you eat a sandwich at the end.
Dude, have you been to downtown Bentonville? Either of you guys?
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's sick, and it's literally like, if this is downtown Bentonville, all the trails are around it. Like, you can ride from downtown to the trails, like a couple hundred yards.
But I think we'll have to bring sandwiches, because I don't know if.
Because we're going to be going hard. That's all we know. We're going hard. So we're going to have to eat sandwiches in the wilderness, like, because we're going to get there, and we're going to journey together.
Why don't we just start riding from here? No, really.
See, there he goes, living on the edge again, thinking he can just ride from here.
Oh, jeez. Bro, your legs would be toast.
Oh, man.
Toast.
I'm not a good rider.
I knew this one guy, this one guy at work, he rides all the time, you know, and I asked him, I was like, hey, so what was, like, the best ride you ever did? Like, what was a good ride for you, you know? He's like, he lives in Webb City. He's like, oh, I rode down to Neosho one time. All the way to Neosho, like from Webb City to Neosho and then back home. And I'm just like, dang, you know? Like, I rode 20 miles one time, and so many people do way so
that's
more,
crazy.
You know what I mean? But I rode 20 miles one way to go to my wife's work, you know? And so I rode my bike there. And I was like, man, I'm not riding home. So I loaded my bike in the back of her SUV, and I'm like, I'll come pick you up later. And I drove my bike home because I wasn't willing to make this sacrifice.
It's a whole other world, man.
But yeah, it's so many people, like, they're just comfortable there, right? 30 miles one way, 30 miles back.
It's crazy how many people ride. I was really surprised about how many people are involved in that world.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool world.
It's a thing.
It's a positive, you know.
It has a lot of similarities to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities. A lot of same lingo. A lot of that same, like, I think it all stems from surfing, honestly. Like, the whole, you know, that's all surfing.
Yeah.
But it kind of came out of all that. But, very cool culture.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, you know, craft
good
beer.
people.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
When is the
we'll figure it out. Like I said, I'll put it out there.
Hit up Zach. Zach would be happy to do it.
Yeah.
Adam.
I'm gonna just put it out for everyone. It's for everyone.
Yeah. Do a PSA real quick. I'll cut it. Do a PSA.
May 2nd, Bentonville, Arkansas. For the jiu-jitsu community, we're going to be doing a trip. Hopefully, we get as much support as we can. It's a tool, I feel, that we can use in these times to help us connect and to bring something positive out of it. And we should all be looking towards the future and in bringing some of the positive things in life to light. So, join us for for an awesome day. May 2nd, I'll be putting the info out there. Hope to see all of my friends there, right? All of my friends. And if you don't have a bike, get with me and we'll help you out.
Very cool. That'll be fun. I'll ask Rich Drew if he's doing anything, because he's professional. So he could come down and show. He could show us some stuff.
Yeah.
Like he does a YouTube series where he teaches you.
Have a tour guide. Yeah.
Oh, bro,
That'd be awesome.
He goes so fast down those trails. Like,
yeah.
Dave's pretty good too.
You are?
Oh,
He's
man.
pretty good. Dave is pretty good.
Dave,
like softball
in
good,
his
or?
mind, in his mind, right, Dave, when he approaches anything.
Dave, I'm trying to get you in a fight, bike fight.
A bike fight?
Yeah.
I've been, dude, I've been around you.
You got that blood, brother. You got that championship blood.
I've been around this guy so much. I know
What's
when
your
he's trying to pull me
Rich
in.
Drew.
Rich Drew.
You're gonna race Rich Drew?
you
Dude,
come
I will race Rich
Mm.
Drew as long as I have a nice helmet.
I'm gonna.
I'm saying.
You heard it.
And not my regular one that I wear around, you know, not my special helmet.
Not your mental health helmet.
No, but here's another thing for Rich. Dave is part of 1%. He's a 1%er.
Oh, that's true.
So you have to.
I don't know if that has
You
any
have to
weight
bring
to
it.
it.
Well,
but
I will.
I enjoy a
analogize
challenge. I enjoy a
this.
good challenge.
Rich Drew is a black belt in
Yep.
bike
In
riding.
riding.
Yep.
Yes, dude.
Yep.
Yes.
Dave, what are you?
I'm a white belt, man.
That's how
Hey, I'm just grateful that I have a bike that's got this good
Hell
suspension.
yeah.
and
Yeah, right.
Did you
it looks
upgrade?
nice. No, I still got the same one.
Mongoose?
No, so I bought a K2. I bought a K2 bike. I don't really know a lot about the bike. It was a frame
Uh-huh.
that I
I
saw.
remember you were telling me about that.
Yeah, and so like
K2?
yeah, it's just some brand, you know. There's a lot of brands, but it's a good one. It's got an aluminum frame,
Ooh.
and it's like I think it's a 26.5-inch bike, or it might be a 27-inch bike. Anyways,
This one right here?
it's an older one, but
Something like this?
yeah. It's got a
Yours is probably
it's
cool.
got a suspension, so it's got a it's not a hardtail. See that go back.
This one?
It's like one of those.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
It's like that dude right there.
Nice.
And anyways, I saw the frame. It's got the shock absorbers in the front and and it's got the disc brakes and stuff. You know, it's an aluminum frame.
Nice.
And so I saw it in a yard, and I was like, man, that's a nice bike.
so you
And so
took
I
it?
asked the guy, and he sold it to me for like $40. There was two of them
Dude,
there. Yeah, he sold them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it didn't have any wheels. It was just a
Oh,
frame,
okay.
kind of.
Yeah.
But I saw potential in that thing, and so I was like, asked him, and he sold it to me. Anyways, I took it, and because I was like, man, I'm gonna get into bike riding a little bit, you know, whatever. I like riding bikes. Took it to that place over by A4's, the bike shop right there in Webb City, and had them order me some tires and some new tires and some new wheels and like a new front disc brake, you know, or whatever, and it's kind of funny too, because like I told this to Jeff and Noe this at the gym this week. I was like, yeah, man, by the time I was done with it, and this is like, you could spend so much on these things, you know what I mean? But by the time I was done with this bike, I had like, I don't know, $480 or $450 in it, right? Just getting all the different parts to make it what it used to be, you know what I mean? And anyways, I was like, I went to go pick up my bike, and then I started looking around the store, and I'm like, that bike right there is $500, and I just did all this, and that was all brand new.
That's funny.
But I appreciated it, you know. I appreciate it because it's unique, you know.
Right.
It's just unique.
Custom job.
Yeah, but it was good.
It's got a good story
They're nice.
behind
They're
it,
a nice
too.
little bike. Yeah. And I appreciate that too. Like when you have something that's got some kind of a story associated to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That ain't just a bike. Like, you just went in, you're like, that one.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I asked, and it was $40, and I picked out the wheels and everything. It's way cooler that way.
Yeah, I think so. It makes something uniquely your own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyways,
We just did 3 hours.
that's where we're at. I was wondering where we're at.
Oof.
Yeah.
Eric's like, whoa, wait, what?
It's interesting how you just start talking and just this thing starts bouncing and flying and vibing, and everybody's just, you know, in the zone,
right?
In a way,
That's how you want it to go.
Yep.
I remember looking up at 2 hours and 3 minutes. I was like, okay, good. And then we talked about bikes, and I looked up. I'm like, 3 hours. Crap. That's what I like, though. All right, I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been super fun. When Dave and I did the podcast last week or the week before, he mentioned, he's like, I'm going to call Eric and get him on. And I was like, oh, man, I don't know how 3's going to go, but I think it went really well.
Yeah,
I had a blast, yeah. I look up to both of you guys. I appreciate your wisdom and your worldview. So it's really cool that you let me hang out with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Sharpen me up.
Oh man, it's it goes both ways. Like my instructor all the time, JW, right? He talks about how loyalty. It goes both ways. You know what I mean? So the things that I pour into Eric, he also does the same for me, and likewise we have that same relationship with you. And those, like I said, those are the people that you want in your life, because you're constantly being built up. And if everybody's doing that, right? Just imagine the world we would live in if everybody genuinely poured into others, gave them their best and tried to make them the best person they can be, right? Without all these other distractions that are all around us, trying to get and to hoard and to keep material position for. If your only intention in life was to build somebody else and make them better, how much of a better place would this world be? Just my opinion,
Heaven on earth.
I don't know.
It could be.
It's tough. It's tough to do, though.
It is.
Like, you can't give in to everybody,
right?
But I think at least if I cannot get in your way, that's something I can do.
Yep.
I might not be able to give my everything to you, because I can't do that and do that for Colton as well. But I can at least not get in your way.
Yep. And you're still doing something that's helping and benefiting somebody else. Yeah. Man, so I would like to say thank you again for opening your doors to me. It brings on a special meaning for me when somebody opens their home to me, right? Like, it's, you're bringing somebody into your life, into the place that you live, and you've built, and so we don't do that to everyone, right? We don't do that. We're specific in the people we open our homes to, right? So when somebody does that for me, it's like a huge honor, and I try to look at it the same way as, like, when you come over to my house, like, it's an honor for me to have you there, or when you invite me into your house, like, you know what I mean? And so thank you again for opening your home to me. It's awesome to spend my time with people like yourself, and man, always a pleasure, Eric, talking with you and chatting with you and having your perspective, because I am the person that I am today, refined in part by Eric Onyango, right? And we do that for each other, right?
See, he had to do that.
I know.
Signing off.
I know. But I appreciate that, dog. Yeah. I appreciate that. We've done that for each other, man. Man, and that's the thing, like, I don't know if you already have. Maybe you have and you don't even know. But you will run into somebody that, like, will have the same influence on you. I mean, I'm sure you already have. Yeah, you're pretty... How old are you?
30.
30? Yeah. Yeah. See, that's... Like, I feel like you're a lot wiser than what I was when I was 30.
I mean,
right.
It's just because I've been around wise people.
I know.
That's the only thing that saved me, dude.
Yeah, but that's good, though.
Yeah.
He's been around the block. Let's just say Colton has been around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a good way. A good block, bro. It's a good block. For sure.
But that's good, though, right? I don't know. But, Dave, it's the same for me, right? And it's not about the cameras or whatever, right? Yeah. Just like I appreciate what Dave's done in my life, right? Yeah, I love him, right? Yeah. He's like a brother to me. Yeah. He's a brother to me.
Yep.
That's what it's about. It's about creating those relationships with people.
We polish each other.
This guy right here,
polish each other.
Is our brother. And how many other people like that we associate ourselves with? Do we have that same
Dude, but it's tough, connection? Man. Like you get a brother, but they don't want to go where you want to go.
Right.
Like you don't see it the same way I do, but you go to limits. You ride limits, right? Oh, maybe you don't think you do.
Oh, I know I do. I push that envelope so hard sometimes, and it's with so many relationships all around me.
No, but like even
I
with
get what you're saying. No, I get it. No, I know.
No, like because I got to be around, because I feel like I push limits all the time, like in my life, because that's how I'll be the best version of myself. And being around you sometimes helped me to push those limits, right? Even in the way I thought about things, like, hey, this thing's a big deal. Yeah. Sometimes it's not a big deal, right? Like, hey, stop being such a bee, right?
Yeah.
It's all right, right? Yeah. So you kind of planted that. You've kind of planted that in me, right?
Yeah. Well, that's all we do. We just build each other up.
We put seeds in each other, and
yeah.
But you got to be open to it.
You have to be able to see them, to receive them.
Yeah, that's one thing I would encourage people to do is what we just did there, is just like speak truth on each other.
Yeah.
Because so many times people don't know how you really feel about them. It's like, hey man, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been going to Native American church, and I noticed that there, where they have a time where we sit up all night and they sing songs like all night, sleep deprivation. And at the end of it, there's just an open floor and anyone can talk. And I noticed for the first time, like people would say, like, Eric, this guy said, Eric, to this person, I think about you a lot. And I was like, the person that I've been thinking about a lot, I haven't told them that. What if I told them, hey man, I've been thinking about you a lot? Just that simple sentence.
You'll be surprised on how you can get an awesome reaction out of somebody, or for them to see that you just care just a little bit by showing a little bit of an interest in them. You know what I mean? Saying like, a buddy of mine told me that, 15 years ago, I was fixing my car and he stopped, we had this exchange and he was asking me if I wanted help, and I was like, no, I'm good, and then so he kind of like, I really wasn't hanging around him a lot, but then we came back, crossed paths again. He's like, hey, remember that time? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that memory. And I was like, he's like, yeah, and I stopped it. And I was like, yes. And I appreciated the fact that you did, right? That he decided he wanted to stop. And so it was, it was just cool because I was able to let him know that I acknowledged his efforts,
right,
and that that was valuable to me, right? And so,
how simple.
If you do that with everybody, right? Just say, hey, man, you're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Right. You know what I mean? That'll uplift somebody,
Yep. Jordan Peterson talks about how little encouragement people really need. It doesn't take that much to encourage somebody, even if it's one sentence, an offering of help. That showed his heart to you.
Right.
I'm willing to sacrifice my time for the next 3 hours. I hate engines, but I'll help you. You didn't need it at that time, but it's just the offering of willingness, of a willing sacrifice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's missing anymore.
It is.
I mean, it's there.
Right.
Maybe it's there, and I'm not seeing it, but I don't know.
Now's the time to bring it back, sheepdog.
I know, right?
Let's bring it back. I'm gonna get you a shirt that says sheepdog.
Let's not start that.
I'm gonna get you an eagle.
Let's do it. An eagle and a sheepdog, and the eagle
peacock.
The eagle.
Dave's is the
eagle has got the sheepdog in his claws, and the wings are flying, and that thing is just like.
Dave, is that like?
Let's just do that, right? And then on the front we'll put flow with the go.
Flow with the go.
Right?
I got it
Because
written
not
down,
only
bro.
are we predators, sometimes we're prey.
Yeah, on the back of
and
the
we
shirt,
just have to accept that that's human nature.
the sheepdog
life.
is biting the shit out of the eagle in the back.
Right,
Flow
and then
with
he chewed
like,
off one of its wings. And
He doesn't
then,
like that idea.
And then the eagle fell, but then the eagle died and the sheepdog lived on.
All jacked up.
I'd buy that T-shirt.
You got
I
a
would
gift
buy.
now?
I'd have 11 of those T-shirts.
That's funny.
Crazy
All right.
times.
I appreciate. Like I said, I appreciate both of you guys coming on.
Thanks
Really-
for having us.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. And
Good times.
value the time that we've spent together, the last 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you very active on social media?
I'm thinking about doing it. Like I'm trying to be.
You're not even on?
I am on social media,
Okay.
but I'm not very active.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I mean. I'm thinking about being more active.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you give a shout out to all your handles so people can find you like on
All right,
Instagram or Facebook?
Onyango at Instagram,
Okay.
and then Eric Onyango on Facebook.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Go follow Eric. He probably posts stuff on jiu-jitsu from what I've seen and all the good pushing the limits.
Pushing the limits,
Yeah.
living that crazy life.
And then you're active on social media, and then also if you want to do another shout out to the open conversations. There was an app you said, right, that people could get and.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hang on, I got a question about that in specific.
sure.
Like, is it for anybody who has trained with you before, or is it specifically for your gym?
No.
members?
It's for people. It's for anyone. If you know me, and I've had a conversation with you, and you want to come and just sit down and chat with me, dude, it's there. Punch one of the time slots in. Come see me. Come chat with me. Right? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be an active member. You can be one of my friends from work, or you can be one of Colton's friends. And if you're hearing this, you get on there and you come. Just whatever. It's for anybody. It's for any person, right? And no matter who you are, no matter how I know you, we can hang out. It's just a tool, right? And I just want to utilize this to be something positive in these times where we can maybe help each other out. Because like I said, I did it initially for others, but I found that I'm gaining benefit from it as well. So and any of your students, as well, or it's for everyone.
Anybody.
It's for everyone.
Good.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. So anyways, David Lopez, and then the Instagram is Matt Club Joplin, and then I got a Matt Club Jiu Jitsu Facebook page. Go on there, see what I do, and find. I'm always I've been putting this hangout thing out there.
Uh-huh.
So just go to my page and find a time that you're able to. It's from Tuesday through Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I got 5 time slots per day, so there's 15 slots. Pick a time, come in, hang out, and
Nice.
let's just talk about life or talk about your dog that you don't like or whatever.
Who don't like their
it's just
dog?
for it's for you, for
Yeah.
us.
And I'll put all that in the description below in this video, so they can just click on the link to the Matt Club page or the whatever app that you said to take them to the time slots. So
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, just dog's going crazy. Click the link below and get your time
Like
slot
that.
with Dave. Yeah. I don't know if they heard that, but alrighty. Any last words before we wrap this all up?
Be safe. Be safe. Be good. Be good to people. Be kind. Yep. Be a good human.
I like
It goes
it.
a long way.
I like it.
Goes a
Be
long
good
way.
human.
Good people, great jiu-jitsu. That's something I've been bringing into my
Yep.
life.
Yes.
So.
For a long time. Good deal. Alrighty.
Thank you, Colton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, D.
Thanks for
Yeah,
listening
you
today.
too,
I
my
hope you
man.
guys enjoyed the
You too.
conversation. Like below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with your buddies. Get a time slot with Dave. That's a really cool opportunity that we might not have for very long. The pandemic might end and we might go back to normal life. So take advantage of this. Get some wisdom, get some conversation, and hit up Eric on social media. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening today. Everybody have a great week. Peace.
Cheers.
This is only the beginning. Warning.